second. Let's
All
see.
right, now we are
Bitcoin.
live.
21,000.
Hello.
Damn. Hello. Welcome to Last Week Tonight. I love that intro. So straightforward, but great. I'm excited for today. We're talking with Jaspaws about the tools he's made to snoop on the market and see how collection volumes are moving between which collections and kind of give an idea of what's happening, where money is moving from to and all that stuff. The tool looks fucking awesome. And I'm excited to get an overview because I was messing with it a little bit, but there's a lot of data there. And it's going to help me tremendously to kind of go through it with you holding my hand a little bit, or at least with you being here and being able to answer the questions that I have in real time. I feel like that's always something that comes up. It's like, I wonder what this is. And then being able to just ask you about it is going to be priceless for me.
Makes life easier.
No doubt. Let's see, what else is going on? Crypto market's pumping this week. Still waiting for that to kind of like cool off. I feel like it's going to follow the SPY kind of closely, which that's the S&P index, which is also kind of climbing still, but looks a little topped out on the daily charts. We'll see if it pulls back here any day now, I'm hoping. But we'll have to see. Definitely last week we were talking about the crypto market potentially pumping and saying to, like, I was planning on scaling out of my shorts at 1350, and I did that. When we hit around 1350, it kind of blew through there, so I ended up getting out at like 1370 or 1365. But sticking to the plan is always part of the process here. If you're trying to trade, having a plan and then sticking to it is definitely not a mistake. What's up? We got Buzz King in here saying what up. Dre. Is that a screen? Oh, dude, it's not a screen. Check this out. It's like a physical thing. I have this little physical LED box that displays the Bitcoin and Ethereum price in relative real time. It just keeps cycling between the two, and every time it cycles, it updates. It's like a little self-contained little box that connects to my Wi-Fi, and actually you can control it from your phone by connecting to its Wi-Fi, and then you can add, I think, up to like 8 or something different assets. It doesn't have to be crypto, pretty much anything that's available on like TradingView or whatever, like its Oracle services. I'll have to check, but I could add like some stock tickers and stuff, but I just keep it at Bitcoin and Ethereum right now because that's kind of the most relevant to our crypto market here. But yeah, it's cool. I got that from my sister for Christmas. She really knows how to give cool gifts. That one definitely this was also a Christmas gift from the same, like, it was from everybody in my family, but this neon sign I'm pointing to, but that was like, it was also my same sister's idea. So she really has her finger on the pulse of like how to give good gifts, like thoughtful gifts that, like, I don't know. It's putting me to shame a little bit. I don't know how good you guys are at giving gifts, but when I have a good idea for somebody and I get them a gift that I'm like excited, that's like super exciting to me, where it's like, oh, I got them something and they're gonna love it, and like I can't wait for them to open it. It's been a while since I've had like crazy good gifts like that though, and I feel like these last like few years of Christmas, like these gifts crushed it. So balls in my court. I don't know. I know, like.
Is Croft not on your live yet? Oh,
It's Croft with a K, not a C.
I can't spell, that's why. But Funko dropped today. We were looking at it a bit last week, but this is the Croft, and who is the other Croft and something?
I forget the name of it too, but it's the people behind
Croft.
I want to say Olafson, but I feel like that's not the right name. I'm just Olafson sounds right to me, but I don't think that's right. Let me I'm in their Discord. I should be able to pull up this information. It is the Sid and Marty Croft. I was way the fuck off. No Olafson in there. Not even close. That went live today, and I'm assuming it sold out, right? Let's check. Digital.
It usually does. Oh, at least Comic Standing says he just saw NFT Hives put out a auto buy feature. It's limited to a single purchase.
So this is something that I saw somebody post about on Twitter as well, and it's not the same thing at all. So if you go to our live feed, you'll see that there's a button that says Quick Buy at the top right corner. That's the equivalent of what NFT Hive and Nifty Block has. Auto buy is something completely different. So Quick Buy and Auto Buy I'm just going to refer to the feature as Quick Buy in general. Quick Buy is where you have to be in your browser, and as soon as something pops up on the feed that you're looking at, it'll pop up like your Wax Cloud wallet or your Anchor wallet, and it'll put up a transaction for you to either auto sign or to click, basically. So you're as slow as the latency on your network and the amount of time that it takes to sign it with either a Wax Cloud wallet or an Anchor wallet. That's what Nifty Blocks has, because Nifty Blocks had it well before NFT Hive had it as well. And that's what the NFT Hive version does. Auto buy is something completely different because it's more akin to putting in a buy order for an NFT, where the automated, you don't have to be there. Your browser doesn't have to be open. And it's significantly faster.
Yes.
Like you're never hitting a $1 pack with either the quick buy feature on ChainChamps or the auto buy feature on NFT Hive or Nifty Blocks. But if you look at our auto buy feature, today somebody did get a Sid and Marty Croft pack for $1. So that's my story.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that too. When you look at the just the straight up blockchain, who's getting like the cheap packs, always the like auto buy wallet that's buying those is scooping crazy good deals. Sometimes there's other bots, like the Pickle bot still gets a good deal of them, but it's competitive, where I definitely don't see like the NFT Hive wallets or most people like trying to, like, since it's not doing it from its own wallet, like you said, it like just prompts you to sign it with your wallet, and now it's about as slow as I am or as my clicking and my like response time is. So yeah, I agree. The ChainChamps like auto buy tool, that's like amazing. It's definitely, it's nice to be able to place that order and then just walk away, and then come back.
What's the name of the contract for that?
AutoB.champs.
Buy anything today?
Oh, it definitely has.
Yeah, it got a $1 standard pack earlier, or maybe it was a premium pack. I don't remember. There were some really good buys that it had last week when everything became redeemable.
Oh, nice. Yes, I always try to scoop some. Like I personally, I go for the like royalty set of those NFTs after the redeemable stuff comes out.
These coins look pretty dope from the
here, hold on.
Sid and Marty Croft.
Let me share a link with you for some of the cool ones, because I happen to have them sort of just share them with you. There's one.
Yeah, the auto buy is going.
Damn, 2 wax.
Going hard. I mint one.
Another one.
We nailed it.
Damn,
I've just shared them in chat with you guys.
I wonder why some people are so like speculative value for these coins. These coins have literally like never had anything announced for them, and some people are just like, one day when the utility is announced, I'm going to clean it up. But
the coins fundamentally I don't get, but people are really going after the low mint coins. The low mint coins have like a crazy value right now. People are paying a lot for the low mint coins. These aren't low mint, but there have been a few low mint pickups today.
Yeah, someone's scooping a coin. Any coin under like $1.50, it looks like.
Yeah, that's aggressive for the coins. I don't know. Like you said, I don't understand the
like that one right there. That one's worth a lot more than the person paid for it.
Yeah, the number 8.
Yeah, because the coins are like, because of the mint size, the Funko collectors like really cherish the low mint coins a lot more than they cherish the low mint anything else. We'll see a $1 pack.
Some people snagging packs.
Hold on, where is it? There you go. There's the $1 pack.
$1 pack. Let's go.
That's a steal. That's somebody who thought someone who thought they were listing it for $16.99 was actually listing it for 16.99 wax.
Yeah,
fail.
It happens.
But yeah, I shared 3 links to my 3 favorite buys from the last week or the last 2 weeks. Those ones literally paid for people's chimps like twice over.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the chimps. So the way that you can use the auto buy tool, if anyone's unfamiliar with it, is on the ChainChamps website. You just go to the auto buy, you set your rule, and then you pay for the rule. The rule being like, buy, let's say, a pack,
I feel
a
like
small pack.
it'd be way easier if you show this off on stream with a visual representation.
Yeah, I had shared the links in the stream
Yeah,
chat, but I'll pull it up on my own screen if that's cool.
I'm pulling up your buys right now. It just I can't get to the private chat without showing the private
That's
chat.
fair.
So
I can. Do you want me to share my screen? I can just do it quickly. I have.
yeah, that'll work too. I was trying to like DM myself through a second Discord account. The links.
Nice.
Let's get that up.
Yeah, no, I was saying like it could be cool though if Max just wants to like set an auto buy rule for a Funko today just for funsies. Just
So here's one that was sold last week.
Really? Oh,
so that is a redemption coin for 71 wax. Somebody paid $4 for a $76 redemption coin. That
especially
is
for a
ChainChamps.
set bonus too. The set bonuses are usually pretty desirable.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, that's a set bonus one too. Yeah, wow. That'll definitely pay for your chimp change.
And then there was this one as well, which is in the kin to the same thing. It's not as good, obviously, but somebody got a Hal Jordan for $2. Redemption coin for that. And
there's no way you're not coming up from that buy.
And then this one. There was this one, which was the Justice Armor. $4. And now this is I have one more after this one, which I regret showing off just because it's somebody that is like in a lot of Telegram groups, and he accidentally sold this one. But
is this Rito?
Yeah, it's Rito.
Rito fat fingered, and then ChainChamps caught it.
Yeah, he sold a redemption coin for 10 cents.
He thought he'd get away with it too until
no.
Jaspaws dug through the data and posted it.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, Rito can afford to lose it, but he can afford to
it still hurts.
Back when Max was
it hurts.
His our planet rig, that was before people were
shit out of one.
The auto buy tools, so nobody was aware when Max fat fingered that.
I fat fingered the shit out of a fucking 10K rig when our plant was at its height. I listed it for 4,000 wax, and still 4,000 wax today is like not bad, but it was going for like 40,000 wax and would have sold instantly at that price. That was a huge fuck up. But what are you gonna do? I felt like an idiot.
Yeah.
At least nobody showed it off on stream.
But the point is, buy chimps, guys. You can get some awesome stuff from them. I still don't feel like people are utilizing them the way that they should be utilized.
Yeah. Right now, I'm just collecting my chimps, and then when I get the chimp change, I add it to the liquidity pool, and then I have a pretty much unlimited supply of chimp change when I need to like make rules. It's wonderful.
I guess also if we didn't make it super obvious, the auto buy feature is on ChainChamps Marketplace, which is the website we're looking at right now, where people are snagging all these really good deals. But the way you use the auto buy tool is by using the chimp token, and the way you get the chimp token is by holding one of the ChainChamps, which is the profile picture project, the first one launched by ChainChamps, and that's still open, so you can buy the drop, and then what is it, once a week you get dropped chimp tokens?
Every weekend. It's not a specific time, because we don't want people to necessarily be like throwing their chimps around and like buying them and selling them at the perfect hour, So it's just like a random time over the course of the weekend.
It's a good way to curb that gaming the system kind of stuff. But here I can I'll share my screen really quick and show it off with visual aids. We want to see here. So if you're on ChainChamps and you just come straight to the ChainChamps homepage, up here you can see there's a become a member right here. So if you click on this, you can it takes you to the drop for the chimps. And so you can scoop a chimp here, or you can scoop them in the secondary if you prefer. But once they're sold out, they're sold out. So they're kind of like coming up on halfway. But once you have these chimps, they just need to be sitting in your wallet. You don't have to do anything beyond that to earn the chimp change. And then what you can do is come up here to your wallet name. There's the auto buy, or you can come here on more. And in more, there's also the auto buy. Once you come to the auto buy, you can see I have 20 available chimp change in this wallet. no active rules right now. So I could just say, okay, create a rule. So let's say I want a collection. I want the Funkos. What's the new Funkos collection called?
Croft with a K.
Okay. Yeah, there it is. So Croft Funkos. So I could say here, there's my Croft. There it goes. It populates that. And then schema, I want the packs. So I can say pack. And now I can choose between these two. Let's say I want to do, let's go for a premium pack. So I'll say next. And then like now I can just say, this is the name for the rule. This is internally for myself. So I'll be like, scoop packs from, I just say scoop packs. Scoop packs. I want to buy, let's say I want to buy up to 2 packs. And I want to pay, let's see, I want to get the like cheap. So I have it set to wax right now. I want to get the ones that people fat finger. So like give me a limit of 150 wax per purchase or something like that. Like if someone really fucks up, actually, let's go for like 500 wax. And then I could say mint range. I don't really care. So I'm just going to leave that blank. So you don't have to fill that in if you don't want to set that as a rule. And avoid known bots. Bots aren't going to make that mistake. So sure. But if you say no, it'll just, not avoid bot sellers, because that can be useful especially if you're not with Funko, but if you're doing like a game that's heavily botted, if a bot starts to like delist or try to like empty all their stuff and you have an open order, you wouldn't want to scoop everything from them. You could turn this on and avoid the bot. And then you just say review.
It's mostly for ethical reasons. Like if you think bots are ruining wax and then they're ruining games, you can just say, I won't buy shit from you, so you can't profit off of me.
Yeah, I feel like that's the most common reason for pressing the button.
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely not a bad move. So then you can say here, create the rule, and then it'd sign. I have to grab my wallet to do the sign, but I can get all the way up to this point without any further. And then, by the way, then I would sign it and the rule would just exist. But now let me show you the other part of this is here. You'd have to deposit your wax. So right now I have, I think, no wax deposited. Yeah, no wax right now. So I'd have to start by, since I said I wanted to pay 500 and I wanted to buy, like 2-3 packs or something, I might deposit 1,500 wax into here, deposit it. It'll just sit here and it'll be available for my auto buy to use. And then any active rules, so you can see I have completed rules here. It'll just, keep track of. And yeah, I mean, I've been setting fat finger rules, but on collections that aren't as active. So I don't think most of them triggered. I did like cat pictures or something that they just don't get enough volume. So like this tool really shines on a day like today when it's Funko drop day and like tons of stuff is moving through this market and people are really quickly trying to scoop things. And you can come in here and like we don't have to buy the pack. We can come in and do like the do the craft Funko and then choose like to buy from series 1 and then choose a specific template at a specific mint, or you could list multiple templates, I think. But like for example this coin, I could say let's do the coin, and then but yeah, hold on, I pause leaving. I'm gonna say goodbye really quick. Okay, sorry, 1 second. Okay, all right, I'll see you in a bit, babe. But yeah, so you can set this to do specific rules of even just individual NFTs at a specific price point. Just let it, and then once you've set the rule, it's good to go. I think for 5 days, right? Or is it 7?
3.
3. Okay, 3 days. I was slow, but it'll just sit there and watch the market for you for those 3 days. So like today, it's Funko drop day. It's going to be watching today, tomorrow, and the next day. And then if it doesn't meet your rules, then the rule will expire, and then you'll have to basically create another one if you want to, continue to be watching the market passively. But yeah, that's what it'll cost. 1 chimp token to set a rule like that, and you get the chimp tokens airdropped to you per chain chimp that you have. So you can see I have 20 in here, and I think you must get I think something like 2 per chimp per week or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's 2 per chimp per week, and there's actually one thing that's changed, I think, since the last time we spoke about this, is when you're creating a rule, the limit isn't 10 anymore. You can actually buy more than 10 items at a time. But every time you increase the limit, it'll cost more chimp to create the rule. So if you have a rule that you set up that you like, I really want to scoop, like, I want to get all of the low mint MLB cards, for example.
Yeah.
You could set the rule limit to 50 now. It'll cost you 5 chimp, though. So that's just something small that's changed so that people can buy more if they want to, without, while still sort of fitting within the rules that we created.
Yeah, that's cool. So you don't have to create multiple rules at 10 each. You can just do one rule and go up to 50.
Exactly.
And then just pay 5 chimp to set that rule up.
Yeah.
Nice. Consolidates kind of like your screen a little bit. That's great. Also, it's great for, like, again, days like today when the market is going crazy and those opportunities to scoop such a low, mint things. That's the moment you want those auto buys sitting there. And like we just looked through the transaction history of that tool, it's definitely scooping really cheap things. So that's like, if you've ever watched the market yourself, seen a great deal, hit purchase, and then get the little red thing that says like, oh, sorry, it's no longer available, that's probably been scooped by either a bot or somebody using the auto buy feature. Because, even though you just saw it hit the market, you're never going to be faster than these automated tools. So that's kind of like a way for us to level the playing field between full-on bot farmers and, the everyday collector. I really am a big fan of the auto buy features on ChainChamps. That's and like we said before, they are not the same as the ones that are available on NFT blocks and NFT hives. It's I guess a similar concept, but you're never going to beat the auto buy on ChainChamps as far as speed. So speed is the name of the game when you're trying to scoop fat finger discounts. And yeah, definitely a big fan of that. So I think also the other nice thing about it is you scoop one of these ChainChamp NFTs, you got a cool profile picture. It's just an NFT that's like fun and supports, the ChainChamps market, and it gives you an endless supply of these tokens. Lets you make 2 rules per week. That's quite a bit. It works pretty well, especially if you're like clever about how you write your rules. But yeah, I'm a big fan of that. The other thing that I'd love to look into now is like let's look over the would you mind sharing your screen and then showing off some of the network graphs and like helping us understand exactly what we're looking at.
Talk about wax charts.
I think we're going to go over some charts. I think you also had some sort of pack thing to announce as well. Right?
Yes, the pack stuff is awesome. We got a sneak peek of that already. Ooh, Marcy. Okay, let me show. There it is.
So this is wax charts. These features are also available on ChainChamps if you go into the sort of the more section and then you hit graphs. But this is sort of like the more full screen experience, and I think it's a lot better if you're just looking for the data that's associated with these graphs, right? So
yes,
what we've done is we've created network graphs that are basically generated based on sale and transfer data on the Wax blockchain. The goal being to basically bring graph network analysis that exists in sort of other facets of the world, be it like social networks or sort of the more traditional stock space, and to apply it to the world of Wax instead. So what we're trying to show is how the buyers are all connected to each other, and we represent that through the projects that people are buying. So Wax in particular has a very interesting set of graphs, because when it comes to the NFT space, we obviously have a huge number of buyers that are here just for Funkos and nothing else. And then we have the whole entirety of the rest of the ecosystem, which are buying Funkos, but are also participating in a lot of other projects too. And that's sort of like the first thing that you can immediately sort of pull from looking at the graphs, is that the Wax blockchain is really separated into 2 giant pieces. On the left in the yellow, we have literally all of the Funko collections. Oh, and MLB Tops. MLB Tops fits in with Funko too. But we have literally every single Funko collection. It's just this giant interconnected mess of lines. With apparently some GPK tops in there as well. But and then you have the rest of Wax and all of the other projects that sort of exist.
When you first loaded up, this is all of Wax. This isn't like pinpointing any specific project.
Yes, correct. This is
So that means the percentage of accounts on Wax trading in Triangle is 50%. So like 50% of the accounts on Wax are basically bullshit. Is that what that means?
Trading in triangles, especially on the upper layer network graph, is actually not a bad thing. Because in this case, it's just showing how projects are connected, right? So you'd expect to have more triangles because a lot of the projects are connected, especially the Funkos. When we dive down into the actual collection level, the numbers of triangles tends to show more malicious things than it does on the higher up.
Okay, so yeah, that's perfect why we have you on here, because I was like, I can see this data, but I don't understand like how to analyze the data I'm reading. Because when I read this, is just like 50% of Triangle. Does that mean those are all bot farms and like literally half of Wax is just trading and like to each other? But good to know that's not necessarily what that means.
No, not quite yet.
So at this scale, does a triangle, is that like people who buy, like, let's say the TMNT Funko drop and then, you know, sell some of the stuff from that drop to then buy into like the next Funko drop, like the Power Rangers one or something like that? Is that constituted triangle?
Basically. So at this point, it means that the people that are buying the Funko drops are also selling to the people that are buying this exact same Funko drop. So it sort of creates this circular thing, which is the triangle, basically. I say so. It's funny. I often describe the triangles as circles because that's what they are. The base definition for the stat is that it needs to have 3 connections, but it shows circular buying. So
Gotcha.
Wrap your head around that one.
It's a circle. It's a triangular circle.
Exactly.
3-point circle.
And the other thing about the collections that we show here is I think that some people have like mentioned that they don't see certain collections that they are familiar with. We literally look at every single collection on Wax when we generate these graphs. The trick is that for different time periods, not every single collection meets the minimum thresholds to actually be connected in some way to other things, right? So you can change the dates up here as well. And you can go back to, I think, November right now. We're working on adding some more historical data. I'm really excited to when we add the historical data for like when Farmers World was huge. I really want to see what those graphs look like.
Yeah.
But we're working our way backwards right now. So we'll get to Farmers World in the sort of giant January 2022 mess at some point, but couple of months that we have to process away from that.
That's cool. Being able to like look at the history of what was happening is super, like, that's useful as hell.
Yeah, so we can go back to like January 12th here and we'll load up that graph instead, just for no particular reason, but other than we can. And you'll see that the stats are slightly different over here as well. They're still mostly the same, but the numbers are slightly different. The graphs look slightly different. And you'll see that there's a whole bunch of smaller collections that are connected to dungeon items, which obviously makes a lot of sense since it supports a lot of smaller projects. And it is by far the biggest node on Wax for connected collections. And then we have Taco, we have Castles, and some of the other bigger projects in here. Alien World is actually surprisingly small on this graph right now. Alien World is usually a lot bigger, but
what's the default range? Like when I just boot up this website, what range of dates is it showing me?
So whatever date you pick, it shows the last 7 days. Each graph is 7 days of data.
So by default, it's today and 7 days back.
Yes.
Okay.
Nice.
And you can't like choose the date range, unfortunately. What you can choose is the date. So whatever date you choose, it's that date 7 days back.
Okay.
Is there a graph for the pervy collectors? I think that would be if you just type in Ludi and anybody buying that collection is.
That's true, yeah. So you should be able to do that, right?
Lude does not have enough data on this particular date. If you told me the date that that Lude like dropped their packs or the dates a few days after that, it would probably show up on the graph.
Also, Lude Momoko 22 is the collection.
Yeah, but it's a search. So if I type in Lude, it should show up.
When was that? When was your drop? Black Fang. When was the?
I'm curious
the
to see
Loon drop?
where
I
people
mean,
were
I should just
pulling
be
their.
able to check my own wallet. I got one, but I'm lazy.
Let's see.
I mean, we can look at the specific
4th
network
of
graphs
November.
for you. So we have look at this. We can see which days it was active as well. Like we can use these calendars to see what the most active dates for collections are. So we went to the Lunmo Moko specifically as a collection.
4th
and
of
we can
November
see-
was their drop.
Yeah, so we can see on the 11th and the 12th, there was some buying pressure. Throughout all of December, there's data for the collections. But you also see that on these calendars, there's dates that are grayed out. Those are the dates that there wasn't enough data to make a graph for it.
Oh, okay.
So there was probably less traffic on those dates. But basically all of November, there's data for most of December, there's data for. There's a little bit less data in January for Lewd, but let's go with the 22nd. Let's see what happened on the 22nd. And this is what the network graph for Lewd Momoko on the 22nd looked like.
Oh, let's see. So non-connected ones means that it's just holding, no transactions occurring, correct?
It means that there isn't a whole lot of interconnection between the people buying. So
Oh, I see.
yeah, so basically there's like what's happening is that there's some sort of core sellers that exist in this graph. So like these people, these wallets are the ones that are primarily selling it. And because there aren't a whole lot of like reciprocal sales, you're just seeing a bunch of disconnected pieces here.
Look at all
that
those
isn't a bad
paper
thing.
hands. All those paper hands. Just kidding.
But yeah, that isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just shows
No.
that there's a bunch of different people buying and selling things. There's no giant core, but there's also no like bots that are destroying the
There's
system.
0% of accounts in a triangle, so there is
Yeah.
no sort of
It's a
tomfoolery.
distributed network of people buying and trading your assets there. So I'd say that's a positive for a collectible art project.
And you have what's interesting about this as well is that you have buying hubs and selling hubs, which are interesting stats too. Buying hubs are people that are basically exclusively buying, and selling hubs are people that are exclusively selling. So you have more people that are exclusively buying in this collection than you do people that are exclusively selling.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And then
that's so if we go to like November 8th or something, so that it includes the 4th and like a little bit of after that, or even like maybe 9th or 10th. So
yeah, let's do the 10th.
Yeah.
And you'll see there's a lot more going on here.
Yeah. So like a lot more activity.
And you actually have connections at the core of the graph as well. Yeah. Still no triangles though. That's really interesting.
I mean, that makes sense to me. I think these were distributed, freely to people, and then those people decided to list them or not. So
yeah, they're distributed to people who already were holding the collection, and then some were given out through like streams and stuff. So they're probably most of the sales you're seeing are people who won them in giveaways who are selling them to people who follow the collection.
Yeah, so then I guess if we find like one of these people who has lots of connections and be like, wait, that person won something our giveaway, then maybe that person's multi-accounting multiple giveaways, and you can get like some kind of idea that way. That's really cool,
you could definitely look at the larger nodes and investigate them a little bit further if you're concerned about things like that.
Right? That's really cool. The visual representation of this also makes it like easier to digest for what like the amount of actual technical information that we're looking at here, and the like my ability to understand it visually like this is definitely like a lot higher than me like looking through blockchain transactions on like a ledger and being like, what's this, what's that? Like this just makes a lot more sense. It's nice to see it visually.
Can you show us an example of like what shady activity does look like? Because you're saying that the triangle thing can show shady activity, but like I guess, yeah, I just want to see what that looks like.
I mean, I think Alien Worlds is usually one of the best examples because by nature of being like the biggest collection in terms of transactions, it also has the most shady activity.
It's also notoriously bot farmed as far
exactly. So that's why the graphs are really interesting. So it's a lot bigger.
Jeez, look at that. That's beautiful.
Looks like there's a sun. Who is the sun there? Someone's freaking.
That's got to be the Federation, right? Please be the Federation. My God.
This is a bot.
That's crazy. The bot farm is enormous. You'd think that would be the Federation wallet.
Zoom
What's
in on
his
it.
account if you scroll in?
Holy accounts.
It's DaneSeps1111.
Yeah.
Look at all those accounts.
Busted.
And what's interesting about it is that if you go and look at their transactions, DNSeps1111, he's doing a really interesting thing that I hadn't seen anybody doing before in terms of bots. He, to all of these accounts that are connected to him, he sells like complete sets of mining gear to each one of those things. But he sells them in bundles, and there's absolutely no way that you can intercept that transaction. And he sells them for $0. So if you go and look at his transactions, he sells a bundle of like things that are normally worth like $10 each. He puts them on the market for $0, and then one of his accounts buys them because he has sort of like a multi-signature setup where the account that is buying them actually appends its purchase to the exact same transaction where he's selling it. So there's literally no way that a bot like us or any of the other bots that are out there could intercept that transaction and potentially get a whole bunch of Alien World stuff for what is effectively free. And it avoids a lot of the detection programs I assume that Alien Worlds has, because you're not transferring the items to your bot's account. You're selling them. They're buying them fairly on the market.
Yeah.
But there's no way that anyone else could intercept it.
Damn,
And that's how
super
ChainChamps
clever.
is doing it.
Wow. Damn. And then this is all about like NFT data, right? It just doesn't include like TLM or fungible token transactions, does it?
These graphs are strictly on NFT data and transfer data for NFTs. We're building out some other systems, which I'm happy to talk about as well later, that do look at the transfers of fungible tokens and honestly identifying bots so that games can hopefully fight back against them a little bit more.
Yeah. Damn. This is definitely, I mean, that's a pretty damning evidence of fuckery right there. A giant sun. Like, I don't know how you would explain that away with like a legitimate, like, what could you legitimately be doing that would result in that amount of triangular trading? Like, I don't feel like not much, right?
Yeah, and what's actually interesting is that the amount of accounts in a triangle for Alien Worlds is still only 4.6%, which honestly isn't that bad. Which you'll see from like the center of this graph is actually like surprisingly healthy.
Yeah.
You just have these edge, like these fireworks on the edge, basically. That's what we were calling them for a while. We were calling them fireworks. That's what the pattern is.
Yeah. Dang. So most of those like ones that's all the same color and connected, those we should assume are like botters or at least networks of people working together.
Yes.
At the very least.
At the very least.
Yeah. Gotcha.
We had a couple questions.
Awesome.
Black Fang asked, what about the shady rug pulls? Can you see the dirty guys? Like, is there any way you can use this tool to maybe see if like someone's bailing on their collection or something? Or would that possibly be visible in the data? I feel like what you could see is more so than an owner bailing on a collection. You can see when the audience is bailing on a collection, because you can see if like, I don't know, if you were like looking at the Farmers World graph and then you saw everybody selling Farmers World and buying Mining Network. I feel like.
What would be an example of a rug pull that we could look at that's happened recently? If you have one, we can look at it and see.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
I've been buying into new projects so infrequently because they're half of them become rug pulls that I don't have like a super recent example.
Tezca?
Wrath of Tezca, yeah.
Tezca just
I actually don't even know.
Theirs was like less of like an open rug pull and more of the just like we ran out of funds and we're quitting development like a year in.
When did I remember it happened? Roughly when did they announce that they were stopping?
It had to have been last month, sometime in
December. It was
December.
relatively recent. Marcy, you're being extra. So extra, girl.
Okay, so yeah, you can sort of see it already in the data. Like, that's actually interesting. I just picked a random date, and the immediate stat that jumps out to me right away is this, which is that there are a lot of people that are exclusively selling the items right now for the dates that we picked.
Selling. Oh, yeah.
Like 22 doesn't sound big, but there isn't a whole lot of traffic on this graph anyway. So you see that like
percentage
72% of nodes are selling as well, right?
Yeah.
So,
damn,
you can tell that everybody is selling it off at that point. and you can see where most of it is coming. Cellatron.
Cellatron.
Well, that's fair.
That's fair. Yeah. Cellatron's, but if people are unfamiliar, that's another bot where you can list your assets for sale and it will match the current floor price and keep listing your
basically
asset
just automatically keeps undercutting the floor, and then like if eventually somebody doesn't buy it within a week, it sends it back to you, but it just keeps relisting it lower and lower until someone buys it, and then it takes a percentage of the sale.
I think it matches the floor. It doesn't push it below the floor, because I've tried to get Cellatron to like undercut me by like listing something I don't want to sell, but I actually want to buy super low to have Cellatron push it down that low. But the risk becomes it'll just match me and someone will just buy my thing. And so, yeah, definitely. Otherwise, Cellatron would like basically race itself to the bottom. So it definitely always just matches whatever the floor is versus like going below it. At least my experience with it. As a non-user, but as someone,
I guess I meant if somebody undercuts you, it'll
match them,
match it. So the reason it keeps listing it lower is because it's matching the market, not because it's undercutting itself.
Yeah. Who's that blue one? That's like the next biggest guy.
FTZRC.wham.
Oh, that's just like a straight up .wham wallet. Now you could like search and be like, is this the creator? Are they like dumping on us?
I do think the buying and selling hubs is definitely important information for like, even if you're just trying to flip or like ROI on a project, just knowing that less people are buying than selling means that like, you know, if you're planning on your ROI lasting for 3 months and no one's buying into the game, that's not going to happen. So this is kind of a way to be like, is the game still hot? Can I still like count on my calculation? Because I calculated a 31-day investment that, you know, depends on the token not collapsing in 31 days. And if no one's buying into the game, it's about to collapse. So I do feel like that could be used for more like to help on speculative investments, because a lot of the investments on Wax for gaming are very speculative. So the more information you have to use to try not to be so speculative, the better. So I think this is a nice tool for that.
This is a really nice tool for that. I like that. Just showing the percentage there. It's like 71% of people are selling. That's huge. That's really not super apparent for me from just looking at the chart, but then like seeing that data on the side there. Wonderful. Very, very useful. Like,
is the nodes selling and buying, is that based on transactions that have passed, or is that like what's listed?
Oh, yeah. I guess are those like just
selling? Does that mean that have sold successfully, or just people that have their NFTs listed on the market?
Like they're broadcasted
sold successfully.
Okay, so it's not what's listed on the market necessarily.
I don't that specific stat. I don't believe it is that, but that information is used. It's just not what that stat represents.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
And then there's another interesting, like there's other stats that aren't necessarily as interesting, but they're there if you can find some use for them. Like the number of users that have exactly one transaction. I don't know what use that has to anybody, but it's there if you need it.
That could be useful maybe for like specifically with the lewd momos, because there is like they had that whole profile picture and people on like to just scoop a single profile picture. That might be a nice indication of like,
I think that'd be a nice tool if you're doing a free drop. Like if you do a free claim, that can tell you how many people are basically multi-accounting if they've only done one transaction. It's just for your claim.
Yeah,
like could be a good way to monitor like if real people are getting your drop or just one person's abusing the fuck out of it. Because if a shit ton of accounts only have one transaction, that means you're being exploited.
Yeah, and if you limit those drops to one per account, and you'll get your own little sun that shows whoever's claiming them all and the person that they're sending them all to. Or would it show a transfer of assets between wallets, or it only buys and sells between those wallets? I guess that's what I'm curious
about.
So
the graphs specifically would only show the buys that are happening.
Gotcha.
And here's dungeon items, which is a really interesting graph as well.
A lot of colors in there.
Yeah, and there's nothing that's like that jumps out as being particularly horrible. Like there's a couple of fireworks here. We have like this guy who has his little network. We have probably this guy, I think, that has his little network. And here's the fun thing about it too, is you can grab the nodes and drag them out, right?
Yeah. So you
can pull out the guys that are hiding in the middle that are still connected.
That is super cool. It's also like cathartic. Like I think someone already said in the chat, it's just like relaxing to like click and drag and move the stuff around.
Yeah, let's grab this one. Hold on.
Even if you don't know what you're looking at, just clicking and dragging them.
Yep. But yeah, like the
they have
dungeon items. Sorry.
Pretty high percentages of accounts with exactly one transaction.
Yeah, they do actually. That is interesting.
I think that would make sense because their game is not using blockchain data really, right? Like to play Wombat Dungeon, like most of it's happening off chain, so you wouldn't be seeing a lot of transactions even if you're playing, I think, right? Or
I believe that's how it works. Is I haven't touched it in a very long time, but
I think like the reason I'm like hesitant on that is because there's the thing where you can you like claim the boost, and I think that might be a transaction. So if people are playing every day, they should actually be doing a transaction a day. But I don't know. I'd have to check on blocks next time I play to see if that's doing anything. This one's definitely interesting though, because like Wombat definitely just like advertised to a ton of indie collections, so there should be like a ton of overlap between collections there.
Yeah, it seems like there is, at least based on the fact that it's such a colorful like graph, right? That's the more colors, the more like variety of users is kind of my takeaway, right?
Oh, this is a question I forgot to ask, but at least Comic Standing said, have you shared the bot list with Alien Worlds and have they responded?
Yes, actually, the answer is yes. And I'm not going to go into it all that much, but we have shown them our graphs. We have talked to them about some of the other services that we're providing to basically take a lot of this information, turn it into APIs so that you can sort of in real time determine whether or not wallets interacting with your contracts are or are not bots. And we're talking to them.
That's so big for Wax. Like that's been
huge.
The biggest issue on Wax the entire time we've been here is it's hard to identify bad actors. So if you're working on tools that can help creators identify bad actors, I think that's pretty incredible.
We're not just working on them; we have them at this point,
right? Yeah, I mean, at this, I can already choose to not buy from bots using the auto buy directly on ChainChamps. That's already like a tool that's allowing me to like avoid that kind of bad action, which that's fucking cool.
Inadequate Mass had a question. He said, I typed in my WAM and it's colored, then turns gray. Am I doing something wrong? I'm not sure if you're supposed to look for individual wallets as much as collections, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to tell people what they should and shouldn't do, what you are or not supposed to do. But if you type in your wallet and it is in that graph, it should just be colored. It should just show up. So like, let's take ovvw.wam as an example. Okay.
All right.
So
is this dungeon item still?
I moved over to a Funko Looney Tunes.
Oh, okay. I think OVVW is also a massive holder of dungeon items.
Oh yeah, let's see.
I
don't know.
It took a while to get there because it's a huge graph, but once it finds you, if you are in the graph, it should just show up like this.
Am I wrong? Maybe Mass will know. Isn't OVVW the guy that bought all those one-of-ones from the Horrors collection? Like, he went through and just scooped all of the one-of-ones because, like, speculative value and dungeon.
Oh, I might be. I think I sold one of my one-of-ones.
That's someone with a bunch of somebody that owed a VW, but I don't remember the exact.
I had mine listed. I had mine listed just as like a flex. I didn't think anyone would buy it, and then somebody came and bought it for like more than I spent on the entire collection.
Yeah,
I just picked a random wallet. I wasn't trying to draw heat to any particular account. I literally picked one at random. So
I appreciated them buying my stuff.
I don't think that's the right wallet. How many V's are in there? 3.
3.
Yeah, that's not the right wallet.
It's only 2 V's.
This guy is also a Funko collector, though.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, so this isolates him within the Funko collection, though, correct?
Yes.
And is there a way to look at him? Like, does he have his own cloud of networks that'll show him and the collections that he's into, or is that that's not a direct? Yeah, okay, I didn't think so.
I think on ChainChamps you can double click on wallets right now, and it'll take you back to the main graph. That's a bug. It's not supposed to happen. It's not showing you interesting information.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say because I tried that and I was like, oh, is this like this is the? But then it was much too big of a graph. I was like, there's no way my wallet's connected to all these.
No, that's it. Like as you can see, I'm double clicking them here and nothing happens. That's what's supposed to happen. But if you do it on ChainChamps, it's a bug.
I see. Oh yeah. You can get to these graphs directly from the ChainChamps website too. If you just click on the More button on the top, there's a network graphs section if you wanted to navigate to them just from being on ChainChamps. By the way, damn, that's really cool.
I also posted the direct link. It's just waxcharts.com.
So since it's drop day for the new Funko collection, the Croft one, can we look at that chart and see how that's like? How quickly is that image going to develop for us? Like,
I don't think we have it yet. I think it'll come in probably tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say
it'll come up either later tonight or tomorrow. We process all of the graphs once a day. I don't remember off the top of my head what time we process them at, but it'll come in later.
Gotcha. Nice. That's really cool. I feel like I definitely understand how to use this tool a lot better than I did before. At first, I mean, I did really enjoy just moving the nodes around and dragging them and seeing the colors and stuff. But like the understanding like that the fireworks are like these are people who are, you know, transacting with each other exclusively or like circular trading effectively with each other. Like that definitely helps. Like kind of isolate like, oh, the bigger the cluster, the more like effectively the bigger that person's bot farm activity is within this collection. Whereas the more like diverse the clusters are, like what we're seeing on the Lewd Momos, for example, the more like kind of distributed the entire collector community is. Yeah. And it's a really easy kind of like overview that you can get very quickly of a pretty complicated like data set. And that's amazing. Like the fact that this is like doesn't require me to be like a statistical analyst or like a statistic analysis kind of person,
something like that.
Yeah, I can't speak right now, but you know, the fact that I can look at this and see it in colors and like I don't know, that is awesome. I feel like that's big value for people who don't necessarily have the like tech savvy, but also would absolutely benefit from this information. Which that's basically anybody, you know, anyone who collects NFTs or participates in these markets. Information and data is definitely on your side. Like the more data you have, the better informed your decision making is. Like
absolutely. Yeah. And there's one other thing we're going to be adding, and I'm not going to say the next week. I think it'll be the next week, but the next week or two. This section down here that's currently empty, there will be buttons down here. And what those buttons will do is like when you search a name of something like we showed before, it'll sort of highlight where Neon I know you're in here somewhere, but I can't see it right now.
You're hidden.
You must be behind one of the balls or something, which is unfortunate that can happen. But let's type in Taco.
I know these.
So it highlights these things for you, right? So we're going to have buttons down here that highlight different features as well. So if you want to see like what the actual groups are, it'll highlight in different colors, like where the actual groups are in the graph. So if we think back to something like the Aliens World graph, you can choose like to see the spans of like each individual clique, as we're calling them, of bots or different cliques in general. And it'll highlight those features on the graphs for you. So if you want to see highlighted what the bot networks look like against all of the other grayed out data, you can do that too. It's just we're finalizing the buttons, and it'll show you other we'll have other like cool metrics that you can click on to visualize patterns that exist in different graphs that you'll just be able to click and have them highlighted for you.
Damn, that's awesome. That's really cool. I feel like this definitely is a tool that everybody can benefit from, no matter like how like intensely into like collecting or trading or gaming you are. If it's on the Wax blockchain, this is like a data aggregate like of a absurdly broad range of data, and you can click in a few clicks and get a pretty amazing overview of all that data without having to understand like statistics or blockchain analysis or any of that. So damn, well done. This is fucking awesome. This is like Wax Detective on steroids.
Yeah, we've actually heard that from a few other people, not just you. You're not the first person to use that analogy, interestingly enough. But on the note of bots, and this is something that I sort of alluded to earlier, we're using a lot of the data here to develop other systems for Wax. Basically that you can, we're doing it as like a software as a service thing where projects can sign up to basically have access to the APIs that don't necessarily power this data, but that we're generating from derivative data of this that we're looking at as well. So if you are running a project and you want to fight against your bots, we will have a service for you that you can subscribe to, basically, that will there's actually two different ways that we're doing it. One is strictly as an API service. So if you want to like check if something's a bot, you can put the account name in. We'll tell you how certain we think it is a bot. Number two is we're working on a contract that sort of works like the RNG contract that you can basically inject as an intermediary step in your contract flow to validate whether or not somebody should be able to interact with your contract. So if you want to block bots from interacting with parts of your contract, we're setting up something like the RNG contract where you can basically just put in an ID. Our servers will check it, and once it's been checked and confirmed, we'll send it back to your contract to finalize, basically. So if you have,
that'll on-chain kind of keep bots out from interacting with your contract in the first place.
That's the goal, yes.
Damn, that's cool. It's like a almost like a living blacklist or something like that's being, or would it be like updated over time as well, or is it like a?
No, it would be updated over time because like how the RNG contract works, the actual random number generation happens off chain, right? And then it's basically injected into the Oracle. It's the same idea where you'll have the transaction that you want to validate or check, basically. You'll enter that information to the table, and then it'll send back to your contract. And you can interpret this. You can use the data, the callback, basically, however you want, to say whether or not the account that submitted that transaction, based on our off-chain verification, whether or not that meets the requirements you've set up.
And then that off-chain information is constantly being updated by the
that's in real time. We can tell you like if somebody's a bot within like one transaction in a lot of cases of them interacting with like a known bot, for example. So like once your network has been identified as a bot, it's going to be really hard to make anything in that network clean from the system. You'll need to start over from scratch again, and that can take some time to set up. So if nothing else, it will hopefully cost people that are running bot farms money.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the end goal. I feel like once bot farms aren't profitable, they'll go away.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. That's a really cool service to be able to offer like a real-time blacklist to keep botters and shitters off your contracts.
Exactly. That's what we want to do, and I feel like we're very, very close to being able to release something like that. Similarly, we are also going to be able to integrate that with the drops you can do on ChainChamps.
Hell yeah, that's a great transition into the drops.
Exactly. It wasn't planned.
Yeah, that definitely crushed it there. Yeah, the next thing we wanted to talk about was there's a new drop tools. So ChainChamps is introducing their own like creator tool set for creating packs and drops. And it's like, I mean, I saw a little bit of it, but yeah, let's look at that too, because that's like it's like built for people who aren't, back end devs. It doesn't feel like we're working on a piece of like software that isn't supposed to be like, creative person facing. Like I don't know if you've ever tried making packs making a pack on Atomic Hub requires going entirely through like a Block Explorer and doing everything on the Block Explorer, which that's already gonna disqualify most people. And then making packs on like Nifty Blocks and NFT Hive, the interface is quite it feels like a back end interface. It's not really like, I don't know. I mean, after I saw your interface, I was like, damn, okay, this feels like a tool for creative people, not so much a tool for developers, is kind of what I was trying to say. But yeah, that's cool. So you're saying you'd eventually be able to integrate that kind of bot detection into the drop and then exclude bots from participating in drops.
Yeah, you would be able to set a threshold for the certainty, basically, that you want people to interact with your drop ads. So you could be a little bit more like lenient if you wanted to, or hyper tight on who you let into your drop. And my hope is that this is just a quick aside on philosophy from my perspective, but I have always passionately hated the idea of whitelists, especially whitelists for new projects. Like, I can understand wanting to give your collectors that have been with you for X amount of time something to basically reward them for supporting you for a year or months or however long it may be. I get that. But when you're a new project that's launching into the space and you have all of these rules and hoops that people have to jump through to potentially get into your very first whitelisted drop, you still get a bunch of bots in them 99% of the time. And B, you're really just blocking out a bunch of people that potentially wanted to support your project. Bad example overall, but I remember that I wanted to buy the initial Green Rabbit drop, and I had done everything that I was supposed to have done for it. And then the drop day came around and I wasn't able to buy anything. And that led to me just not wanting to have anything to do with Green Rabbit. Good choice in the long run.
Yeah.
Didn't get to the conclusion the right way. But that turned me off that project because I thought, even when I thought I had jumped through all the hoops, I didn't. And a whole bunch of bots beat me and a whole bunch of other people to those drops, right? So my hope is that by creating a system that people trust enough to block bots, that we can hopefully get rid of initial whitelist requirements, because you won't be worried about non-community members jumping in on your drops.
Yeah, that's definitely huge, because I totally agree. Like, having a whitelist on any drop, even drops for like existing collections, it is cumbersome as like someone who's a collector. It's like, oh, this is cool, I'll buy this, and it's like, oh, you're not whitelisted. It's like, well, then fuck it, you know. Like, I'm not gonna look at how to do it. And it's happened multiple times for me too, where I'm just like, oh, this is cool, I'll buy this, click on the drop, it's like, sorry, your wallet's not, and it's just like, okay, that's as far as I'm willing to go. Like, but that kind of sucks for the people hosting the drops. And I do understand why the whitelists are so prevalent, because, you know, like you said, it is riddled with like bots, especially back in the like in the bull market kind of days, when like everything just sold out in seconds and was immediately like 2-3x flippable. You know, there's a lot of incentives for people to, you know, be bad actors. And yeah, so it's definitely nice to see that, you know, instead of having to whitelist something, to be able to just be like, okay, you know, I just don't allow accounts that are, you know, at least 80% certainly bots. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm not promising anybody that this will work exactly as I'm describing, but from looking at the data that we've collected, looking at the analyses that we've done, I truly believe it's going to work. I could be wrong, but I really do think it's going to work.
Yeah, let's see. The more they're exposed, I'm gonna try to read what KY is saying. The more they're exposed, the more they'll explicitly allowed when others see how much volume they can. Yeah, that's true. Actually, there's like you see like how well like it pays to be a bot farmer. It like incentivizes other people to do the same shit. So the more like difficult it becomes, the less likely I think it, like, you know, the virus spreads and kills our wax space here, because it is really frustrating to battle against bots and this kind of stuff, especially when it's like, hey, I'm not even trying to flip to like make a profit, I'm just trying to collect this thing, and I can't, and I'm on principle, I'm not paying 3x to some botter just to get what I wanted to get in the drop. But yeah, this is the next thing here that we've pulled up right now is the pack creation like interface that ChainChamps is putting out, and I think you can do like, you can create packs that have this one. Yeah, like you can create your packs with like a mix of pre-minted or mint on demand, and the way that the rule sets work, yeah, it's really cool. Where it's like, oh, and also the actual pack drop page, I loved. We should look at that first.
We'll get to that.
Okay, we'll look at that. Yeah. Okay, because I really like that. That's like all the snooping that I usually do, like behind the scenes on packs that I'm about to open. It's all front and center with the pack tool on ChainChamps. But yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, so basically we've created this new, I don't think we're doing anything that's like super new or unique. I just think that we wanted to make it easier for everybody to have any feature that they wanted in their packs. Because on NFT, you have things like pre-mint packs that you can create. You have mint on demand packs that you can create. And at some point they were offering a premium service, I think, that allowed you to combine them. And I think NFT Hive only offers those separations too. I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yes. Those are both accurate.
Good.
Yes.
So these examples don't have pictures. I haven't attached a template to them yet, but basically you can also create your packs without templates right now. So this is what the interface looks like initially, right? So you have all of your basic information. Oh, apparently I did attach a template to this pack. You can set up your template ID. You can set up animations. You can set up when it unlocks. You can set up how many packs you're going to have. But what I think really makes this cool and unique is how you actually create the pack, because it's a drag and drop interface. It's not an interface where you have to type a whole bunch of things in and press a bunch of buttons. You basically start by creating slots for your packs, which are just a giant list of rules. Okay. So I have some sort of started already, so I'll go through this quickly. But you create a new slot for your pack, okay? Slots can be reused as many times as you want. And slots can contain a giant rule set of whatever you want to go into your pack. So this slot that we're editing right now is an example of a mint on demand slot. So, it's actually, that's I shouldn't say that. It's not a mint on demand slot. I've called it a mint on demand slot. You name your slots so that you have reference to them, so you remember what they are and what they do. For this particular pack, we have called it a mint on demand slot because in this slot, we've created, I think, 12 different rules with different odds that will basically mint on demand separate different items for you. So you have a 1.3% chance of getting a legendary mint on demand chimp, a roughly 5.2% chance of getting an epic chimp. You can set up rules to do literally whatever you want. So if I wanted our users to have a 1.3 chance to get a legendary chimp, mint on demand, and a pre-minted item from the pool, you can combine items in your rules as well. So you could give your users a 1% chance to get a bonus item from a slot if you wanted.
That's super cool. And all you're doing is clicking the little plus for that section, and it brings it up like, boom, what do you want to add?
Exactly. You just click on what you want to add, the pool, the item that you want to add, easy. So if we wanted them to get 2 legendary chimps, we would just pick a second legendary chimp, hit add, and then you see that you have, if they happen to roll this rule, they get everything that's in that row.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh, yes. So you could set a rule that's like one is with 1 is with 2, and 1 is with 3 chimps, absolutely, for example, and then set them at different intervals, and then it's very straightforward, I feel like, especially compared to what's existing.
Yeah, and then if we go over here, we'll see that we have a pool that has this particular slot is a pool slot, right? So this slot pulls from a pre-minted pool. We could also in this set of rules, we could also create a mint on demand rule. So we could say there's a 50% chance of minting on demand a template, or there's a 50% chance of pulling something from a pool. So you can very easily combine your mint on demand and your pre-minted.
That's really cool.
Items
Hybrid.
in the same rules.
Yeah, that's also not straightforward. It's possible with an FD, at least with the level 3 stake it was, and I think it now for everybody after they've made it, but it's not straightforward like this.
And then what you do after that is, let's just erase these for now, just so I can show this example off. So we've created our slots, right? We've created our pre-mint slot and we've created our mint on demand slot. Let's say that in each one of my packs, I want there to be 3 NFTs that the user receives, because that's what they're receiving in this pack. I want one of those NFTs to be a mint on demand. Take the mint on demand slot I created, drag it in. If I want there to be 2 pre-minted items that they receive, I take pre-minted slot, drag it in. I take pre-minted slot, drag it in. That's the pack. You've now added 2 pre-minted items that follow your rules and 1 mint on demand item that follows your rules.
Yeah, and the cool kicker to this is, let's say you're making a small pack and a big pack, you can now make the big pack and just drag it in a couple more times.
Exactly. And if we go back and actually look at this, we have a large pack over here and until you release the pack, you can reuse the same slots that you've created. So if you want to reuse and have a large pack and a small pack pulling from the same pool, you literally just drag and drop the slots you just created in the small pack into your large pack as well.
Yeah, that's really cool too. So you have multiple packs, different structures, and different rarity sets for the packs, but everything's pulling from the same pools, and kind of evens the playing field. Because I personally, like, I'm not a big fan when you have multiple pools for multiple packs, because then you have to like check which pool has what left and which one actually has the odds that they say they have, because the odds change as packs open. So having them all like conjoined into a single pool definitely consolidates all those odds into that same pool. This is an interesting question too. The Kawhi is asking, are you able to add FTs as in a slot? Can you have it pull, like chimp tokens or like Nefty token or wax or something like in one?
We plan on adding that super soon. We don't have it yet.
Ah, nice. That would be cool.
It's in the very near roadmap for it.
Nice. Yeah. So then that would be another thing you could add to a rule where it's like, either it opens like a chimp and some chimp change, or just the chimp, and then like someone might rip a pack that opens a chimp, and someone might rip one that opens a chimp and chimp change.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. This seems very straightforward to me as far as like a creator and like approaching this with like a non-developer like background. I think this makes creating, blockchain assets that are like openable packs, which isn't like a small feat to do by yourself. It makes that really approachable, and it feels like a really like a creator centric approach to that process, which I really like.
And then you have your pre-mint pools as well that I don't think we touched on. You can basically add anything to your pre-minted pool, so it's not strictly things from your collection. Actually, one second.
Here's a question: is it possible to remove stuff from a pool once you've added it without?
Until the pack is released, yes.
Okay.
Once the pack has been released, you can no longer withdraw anything from a pool. But as you can see, if we have a remove from pool button. So these are all the things that are in our upcoming pack. And we could click on like 5 of these chimps if we wanted. We would just hit remove. And as long as we haven't released the pack yet, you could remove them from the pack.
That could have saved us a lot of time on fucked up blends.
Yep, definitely. There's been pools and like I put stuff into pools on Nefty that I was like, oh fuck, like I put this in the wrong pool. Like it was a naked one and I put it into like, name.n for naked, but .n was already like same name .n was already the pool for the neons because I'm an idiot and I used the same naming convention twice. I had to do a bunch of crap to get them out of that pool. Like through the
we had to create a new blend for an NFT we minted just to get the NFT. We had to do the blend hundreds of times to get the NFTs out of the...
It was really stupid.
And that's not happened once. That's happened multiple times to us because we're dumb.
Yeah, because we get a little stoned and then do some blockchaining. It's not a good.
Well, we hope to solve that problem for you in the future. But yeah, when you're adding things as well, you can add from different collections. You don't have to keep it strictly to your collection. I know NFT Hive does that too. They just added that feature. They say, hey, we're the first people to do that. Our contract's been out since October, NFT Hive. You can do that with ChainChamps for months.
You just haven't been pushing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's been available, by the way. This tool is available right now. If you go on ChainChamps, you can do all this right now. It's not like upcoming. This is it's been in effect. It's really cool. The other thing I loved about this is like the way that it shows the all the info it shows you on the drop page for your pack, like that.
Yeah, I'll pull that up in a second. I think that's
okay. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm excited about that.
Yeah. But yeah, you can I also just like all the filters we provide, and I think it's just a nice clean interface for adding whatever you want to your pools. But fine, we'll get to your pack, okay?
Fine. I love this. This is like it's like next level. Basically, all the information I want when I'm opening a pack, and I don't have to snoop for it. That's great.
Yeah. So this is specifically our drop that's going live on Monday, and what we're doing is we're setting up a mystery pack, basically where you have the packs are $250 or $10. I haven't set up the $10 pack yet. These small packs will have 2 NFTs in them, plus a bonus chimp. Not a chain chimp, but like an AI chimp. So we used an AI generator to create a whole bunch of chimps, which are mint on demand, and you'll be able to use them in the future to basically burn for a discount on our future drops. So if there's a drop that you like, you'll be able to redeem it basically as a like 2% off or something, whatever it may be.
Oh, nice.
But you also get the AI art until you decide to burn it or blend it. So yeah, we have our small pack, which is going to be $250. Our large pack, which is going to be $10. The small pack has 2 NFTs. The large pack has 9 NFTs. And then they both include one of those bonus NFTs. So if we look at it, we have our standard drop page. Like this is what, if you run a drop on ChainChamps, this is what it looks like. I like the interface more than I like anybody else, but I'm incredibly biased. And you'll see like what it looks like. You'll have all of your basic stats about it. You'll see when it's coming out. You'll see how many are left, and you'll be able to buy it. But then if you are setting up your packs through ChainChamps and your drops through ChainChamps, you'll have access to some other features as well, like being able to show people what are in the packs and feature the items that are in the packs. And when somebody has opened a pack that had one of these items in it, it'll gray that item out for you. Obviously, these packs haven't come out yet, so nothing is gray here, but you'll see these lists sort of slowly deplete itself.
That's basically showing you the pool, so you can see if like the chase cards have already been pulled or not without having to go like dive through the smart contract.
That's super dope. It gets even better than that.
So you'll be able to see that in our particular drop, we have a couple of #1 Funkos. We have a big boy. We have a #1 MLB guy in here. We have some old TMNT packs. We have a #1 Foot Soldier, which I think this is like by far the biggest chase in the entire pack. When we bought this for the drop, I think we got it for about $180. I think last I checked, there aren't any #1 TMNTs under $400 right now. So that's like the big.
Those packs are also pretty valuable. Like TMNT, I think might be the most valuable of all of the Funko drops, right? Because it's the first one.
Yeah, I collected the full fucking royalty set when it came out. Got all like the redeemable stuff for it. I ended up selling the redeemable tokens for whatever I spent on the NFTs, but now I have the full NFT set, and I'm very happy with that. I keep trying to go for the full royalty sets of all those Funko collections.
So is everything equal odds in this pack, or what are the odds?
Everything is equal odds. Everything in the pool is equal odds. So you have as much of a chance to pull these as you do anything else. There's a whole bunch of other stuff in the packs as well. There's literally like, I want to say there's like at least 50 single-digit MLB NFTs in there as well. So a bunch of MLB NFTs that range from mint 1 to mint 9. I think there's at least 50 of those in there. Those are all usually like a minimum of $5 each. There's a whole lot of other low mint Funkos in here too. Again, these are just the items that we're choosing to highlight right now. This list can also change as your drop changes. But I think there's something that Max really wanted to see, and you're going to have to bear with me as you imagine this one, because the pack hasn't released yet, so you can't see what it actually does. But if you scroll down to the very bottom, you'll see that there's a section called Opened Packs. And what this is it's a very empty button right now. But when the drop and the packs are actually live, this is a live feed of every single pack that has been opened. So you'll see the 10 most recent open packs here, and it'll update in real time. So if you want to say like, hey, you're waiting for there to be like a long string of just commons being pulled, you'll be able to see it live on the drop page. You'll be like, okay, cool, I'm buying my pack now because I think maybe I'll hit the grail on the next pack.
That I fucking love, where it's just like it's showing you a live feed of what people are pulling as they're pulling it. So then you can be watching people pull nothing and then be like, okay, this is like, I just opened all these packs and they're all trash. Time to open my actual packs.
I definitely was doing that for
same.
I was trying to open my Grubfish Trail pack. I was trying to wait until a bunch of people pulled the green one so I could try to get a pink one. It didn't work, but it would be nice to have it all in one spot instead of like having to go search the Nifty Blocks pool on Atomic Hub and like find the wallet, then refresh, then like sort by collection into the transfers and then keep refreshing that. Like it's definitely not super easy, but
right. This is everything I want to know about opening a pack, all like on that one page. I love that. It's like what's left in the pool and what's actively being pulled and what's been pulled. Like plus all the standard like pack dropping.
And when does this drop go live? I'm not sure if you said
this is on Monday, and we can watch the countdown. It's in 5 days, 20 hours, 53 minutes, and 34 seconds.
Yeah.
So next week.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna have to try to get one of those. There's some cool shit in these packs.
And ladies, I just need to repeat, there's so much cool shit that isn't even featured here. We couldn't feature it all in one box.
Yeah, that's definitely dope. Plus, you can get some ChainChamps through this pack too. And that's a pretty good snag on a ChainChamp.
Yeah, and I think last I checked, which was a few days ago, it's actually cheaper to buy a ChainChamp from the primary drop right now. ChainChamps secondaries are like $37 or something last I checked. And you even have a chance of getting the #1 ChainChamp. And just a quick disclaimer, you can check the block logs, you can check the history. I didn't mean to get this. We legitimately bought a bunch of chimps from the drop so that we could put them into this. So we like operated through the random pool. We bought a couple of chips from the random pool from the drop, and it just happened to give me the #1 chimp. If you don't believe me, check it out. We didn't cherry pick the #1 chimp from the drop pool that exists. But he's in here now, so if you want the #1 chimp,
yeah, that worked out. That's kick ass. That's also, you got the receipts and they're on the blockchain. So
exactly.
Boom.
You have to trust me. It happened. Yeah. It's written.
Yeah. Actually, you don't have to trust me. You can verify.
No, that's true. You don't have to trust me.
Fact.
But you should trust me.
Yeah. You can verify it if you don't. But yeah, that's super cool. I'm excited for these. Like the pack tools are great, and then like the way that the pack like displays. I'm just like impressed with everything ChainChamps is done since like the last time we talked. It's like, damn, nice job, dude, killing it.
Thank you.
It's also if anyone's new to ChainChamps too, the live market feature is fucking awesome too. Like especially today, you got like the Funko drop, and you can just watch the market like live populate and just snag stuff very quickly. Like it's definitely
saying that earlier. It's faster than any of the other marketplaces. Oh, yeah. So like, if you're on Atomic Hub or Nifty Blocks and you're trying to manually click buy, like you're gonna get stuff slower than you get it on ChainChamps.
Yeah. If you're like an actual collector, like scooping stuff, that's definitely the marketplace to do it on. Like, definitely. Also, the like filters are getting more and more like usable now too within the quick or the live market. Like the filters are updated. I saw that too, right? That was a pretty.
Yeah, the filters are getting better. It's still not a perfect system. And I'll just point out, when you actually buy your packs, you can open them on the same. So our open pack, we have like a whole open pack interface there. I should have planned this out better. I should have made sure I had some packs to open to show you what they look like. Actually, I can probably find one. Hold on.
Wait, can I open my Funko packs without a drop wallet here?
No, unfortunately you can't.
Oh, damn. I was about to be like, holy shit, game changer. I always have to send that shit back and forth with my drop wallet.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I wish I could do that for you, but it doesn't work that way. They don't need, like, their contracts aren't on chain. Like if their contracts were on chain, we could do that, but they're not. So what was it doing? Drops. I have some test packs on mainnet, so I'll just buy a test pack quickly to show it being open. Nice. This is still like being finalized. We have a few more days to like make sure it looks exactly like what we want it to look like, but you'll be able to see all of the packs that you have on one page, and then you can select the packs you want to open. I believe our goal is to make it so that you can open. Oh, we have a raid.
Oh, what a...
Thank you for the raid, Left House. Shout out to our lefties.
Left House Action News. Can you open more than one pack at a time on here too?
Yep.
Oh, hell yeah.
And you'll see why that makes sense and how you can do it. Admittedly, I only have one pack right now. I'm not going to grab another pack, but it'll open. It will open, I promise. And then it basically uses the same interface as a pack simulator. So if you had multiple packs, you would see the contents of each pack on sort of its own row here. And then what you can do is you can claim the pack. You have to claim the pack because that's how this works. It's the pack has been claimed, and then I can reveal what is in it. And we got a health potion on Undying Ronin. Sick.
Nice. That's funny.
I used Wax Arena items for the test packs because I didn't care about them.
Yeah, those are from a rug pull collection now. guess.
So you can, and that's how like it'll work. You can like load them all up at once, and then you can just go row by row and open each pack up as
Would it still play the video or?
Yes, if everything is from the same collection, it'll play the video. Or everything is from the same pack, it'll play the video. Yes. If everything is not from the same pack, it will not play the video.
Okay.
But I think that's in favor of like if somebody wants to open all their packs efficiently. They don't want to watch a video most of the time.
I watched the video once, and then after I do that, I'm like, okay, I'm just ripping packs to rip packs at the moment. I would like to just skip the video, and that's super cool. Just being able to open multiple packs in the same transaction, that's great. I've done that. Like, I don't know, especially since I do like collect stuff on my like hardware wallets, and then I'm like clicking like 1,000 times to like sign all these fucking first open, then the reveal, and then like the claim. Sometimes it's like multiple transactions, plus you're clicking them over and over again. That's super cool. Damn. Can you open packs on this that aren't made on ChainChamps? Like, could I open a Nifty Blocks pack or a
not yet, but we are 100% planning to do that. That is the intention right now.
Nice.
But we want to finish our packs first and get all of our packs up there, and then we'll do it so that you can take a look at some of the other packs too. That's the goal.
Damn.
I'm the KY. I had a question. You said, do you have metrics against things like Nifty's Gutter and Unity Docs and how y'all shave time off?
So other than I think Pugwash also followed up by saying that he's tested it side by side and notices that one is way faster than the other. But aside from our own just sort of benchmarks that we've run on both systems and confirming that every time that we've tested it and benchmarked it, ours was faster. I can just give some anecdotal evidence to why that might be the case as well. And again, I'm just hypothesizing here on how different things work, but our system was built on modeling the data in the sort of slimmest way possible. So when you go to the live page or you go to the deals page, you're not actually seeing, or at least your browser, your network connection, they're not actually seeing all of the data that is normally loaded up when you load something like a market page. If you go to Atomic Hub or Nifty Blocks and you see all of the data that's on in the actual like network data for every single individual asset, there is a lot of data. We built our own models that basically slimmed it down to just what we needed to actually show people and allow for the filters that they wanted to have on their live feed. So our model is completely different as far as I can tell from anybody else's, which is why, just one like anecdotal thing about why it could potentially be faster. But our systems were also built from the ground up with live networks in mind to optimize for the live features of Nifty of ChainChamps and the live feeds versus something like Nifty Blocks, which I don't believe their infrastructure was built from the ground up with live as its primary purpose. It wasn't optimized for speed for live feeds. They just kind of launched it one day and then forgot about it.
I feel like ChainChamps kind of is leading the charge on the live marketplace side of things and is really kind of lighting the fire under the asses of like other marketplaces to incorporate live at all. Because I don't think live was really a thing, actual live feed marketplaces until ChainChamps came along, as far as I know. That was never like you could, spam Control-R on your keyboard and that would be your live feed. Like that's like, at least as far as I'm aware, like ChainChamps did that first and still does it the best. And at least, and that's, I guess, my opinion now, because it's not like I know everything, but I've been doing this stuff for years and using all these marketplaces pretty actively. So I feel kind of confident in that. I feel like ChainChamps is definitely, in my experience, the first place to do live listings. And like I said, like I feel like you drive a lot of other marketplaces to offer more competitive like products. Basically, at the end of the day, it's been exciting to see how other people are coping with, what you guys are putting out. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like NFT Hive has their live feature now, which you can do on only specific templates, I believe. So like if you load up a template for something on NFT Hive, you can what's it
Mhm.
called? You can
You can
view
watch
any listings for that template live. And that's, I think we had a conversation at the beginning of this stream as well, where somebody said that they have an auto buy feature there too. With NFT Hive, you can only auto buy on like one template at a time, because the live feed is only available for specific templates. Nifty blocks in there, Gutter obviously exists, and it's good. It's not bad. But yeah, I feel like once we did it and people started using it, especially on Funko drop days, everyone was like, cool, we need to do that too now. And that's why we're just trying to come up with new interesting things. That's why and actually, I don't know if I mentioned this in the show. I think I might have mentioned it a little while ago, but we love the wax space, and we got into the wax space initially because the NFT market on wax was just really, like, I felt further ahead than the NFT marketplaces that existed elsewhere. The NFT marketplace here excited me, and admittedly, I feel like it's teetered off a little bit, but I still absolutely love everything that wax is and what it represents. However, because like there's been a bit of a pullback on what NFTs are in this space, we've started to focus a little bit more on things like the data. Because I think the one thing that at one point when we started, I felt like NFTs separated wax from other blockchains. Like Wax's unique selling point was we have a massive NFT ecosystem, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now I feel like one of their most unique selling points as a blockchain is, hey, we have this truly obscene amount of data that exists on this blockchain. And the number of like models and AIs that you can potentially train on the data set that is here is just absolutely absurd. And that's why we're taking a lot of what we're doing now, and we're taking in the direction of how can we like better leverage the data that's available on Wax to create more intriguing products, not just for our marketplace, but for ChainChamps as a brand in general. Because I think that at this point, the data that Wax has is like the biggest selling point as a blockchain to me. Just there's so much more than there is anywhere else. And
yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting point too about like being able to train AI tools and stuff, because I feel like data is definitely like the currency in a digital world, you know, like everything's becoming automated and digital, like everything's digital, and having all that data available is like deep value. And that kind of like I was saying earlier, like having data when you're participating in these kind of markets just makes you more informed when it comes to what you're doing. So that's true, like all the way up to like massive scale of like data farms and all that stuff. So yeah, it's a definitely like an interesting concept to think about. And I'm really curious to see how AIs tie into these kind of crypto markets in the future. Just waiting for like 2 giant AI NFT collectors to like drive up the price of weird collections, because they're some futuristic stuff where the biggest collectors are themselves are just AIs.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's interesting because you can sort of see it happening in like small little bits and pieces on the Wax blockchain sometimes as well. Like, just again, a small anecdotal thing is when we were building these packs, there were specific things that we wanted to include in these packs. So one thing that we were very interested in was low mint MLB items, right? We wanted to include a bunch of low mint MLB items in the mystery packs that we are going to be selling on Monday. And just the act of like us going into the market with the auto buy feature and buying up a bunch of those has like maybe not artificially, I don't know. I really don't know what effect this is going to have in the market, but all of the cheap like MLB things don't exist anymore because we have them all in one pack right now. And the price of the floor on those items has actually risen a lot, and it's stayed there since we bought them. So I'm really interested to see like what, just from like a data perspective, what these packs are going to have, like whether they're going to have an impact on the price of these things that we sort of bought up in mass. Will the prices go back down to where we bought them? Which, by the way, still a good deal for everybody. They were still more than $250, but whether they'll go back down to that or whether or not they'll sort of stay around where they are now.
Yeah, that's definitely. It's also cool to just be able to. You have the access to the data, and you can see what happens. It's an interesting question, but you'll get your answer, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Usually you don't get the chance to see it so clearly, and that's an interesting point about Wax having it's like Black Horse feature is its data set more so than any game or collectible or whatever NFT project on there.
I mean, that's also the business model of all social media and Facebook and stuff is user data is super important. So I could see that being valuable in the future for sure. I do think we should start transitioning more towards our tech talk. We still have to do market analysis and stuff. So I don't know, Jaspaws, if you had any closing words, if you had any final stuff you want to say, and also you're welcome to join us for the tech talk, but also you don't have to stick around for Max reading charts if you don't want to.
I would love to, but as I mentioned to Max earlier, I'm a little bit under the weather and my throat feels like it's going to give out at this point. So I'll probably step away.
Yeah, thanks so much for going over that stuff with us and showing us the new developments at ChainChamps. And I'm really excited more than I was before we talked. So that was the goal for me. At least I wanted to get a deeper understanding, and I feel like I have that, and it's really cool to see what you're working on. So thanks for joining. And
then it sounds like I've done my job.
Yeah, you nailed it, dude. Just been nailing it, crushing it. That's really cool.
Before I run away, packs are coming out on Monday. Buy them. There's a whole bunch of cool stuff in there. We'll hopefully highlight a bit more of it before they drop, but we're hoping to do this as sort of a monthly thing. So we'll be curating a bunch of different collections to sort of highlight with different themes on a monthly basis, and hopefully it gains traction. I think they're cool. I don't know, but we'll see how this goes. And yeah, check it out on Monday. Create your packs with us, and what's the last thing? Oh yeah, use Wax charts. Look at Wax charts.
Yeah, do some snooping of your own. See what you can what surmise you can figure out from all those data points.
I don't know if I have the power to drop the link in chat, but
for the charts?
Yeah. No, I meant for the packs or the charts.
Where is the drop?
Yeah, so there's no easy way to get to it right now. That's something that we'll have rolled out next.
Yeah, I guess if you hit me in private chat, I can share it too.
Yeah, I can also do it if you put it in the private chat.
You can just go to the ChainChamps collection, but here.
We will also be we'll be streaming. So if it doesn't sell out on the first day, we'll be streaming a week from today. So I'm down to open a pack on stream next Tuesday, assuming that's possible if it doesn't sell out while I'm sleeping on Monday. But next week I'm down to do a little bit
rip some packs, see the live feed filling in. Yeah. That's gonna be super dope.
And fight for your mint 1 foot soldier.
Yeah, well, I want that mint 1 chimp,
or the mint 1 chimp, whatever tickles your fancy. Anyways, Thank you for having me on. I hope you enjoy your market analyses after this. But have a great day, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for joining us as always. You're always very informative.
That definitely fits the tech theme today. Thanks, man.
Bye-bye.
Later.
That's dope, man. They're building cool shit over there.
So for the next part of our stream, we go over technical analysis of the crypto market, of just the market in general, not only Wax. Then we have a series where Max did 100 Wax investment, where he took 100 Wax and we're just trying to make more Wax. And each week he moves it around in Wax DeFi options and sort of just shows people what's possible on Wax. It's not financial advice, but it's just showing you all the different opportunities that are on Wax. Because if you're new to NFTs or you're new to crypto, you might not be as hip to some of the DeFi stuff, and that might be a little intimidating. So this is just sort of us walking through that. And again, we're not saying you should dump money into these things. It's not guaranteed making money, but if you would like to try, this will at least get you your foot in the right direction of knowing what to do.
The goal for that whole series is just education, and I feel like education works best when you can do stuff firsthand. So we did 100 Wax at a time when Wax was the amount was maybe $10, so it was very approachable, and you can join in for $10 and figure out how to do some things that are relatively high concept, providing liquidity to an exchange and farming incentives for that liquidity with mining on Taco Swap, stuff like that. So kind of just being able to talk about those concepts, but from a really approachable like standpoint of, oh, let's just throw like $5 at this and see how it goes for a week. Plus it gives us an excuse to talk about, liquidity pools when we're actually engaging in them. So let's start by looking at the market today, though. This week was fucking nuts. So we blew right through the limit of what I was charting last week. Let's see, 15 minutes is not where we want to be. Let me set up my chart here for what we're used to looking at. We'll go to the 1 day. I'll turn off indicators that not everybody has. There we go. Those are like custom indicators that me and Sid have been building for years. But here's the wax market. Here's the crypto market. We're looking at Ethereum as we usually do. Ethereum and Bitcoin will usually give you the big overview picture of how the crypto market in general is moving, because everything follows Bitcoin mostly, and Ethereum and Bitcoin kind of trade in unison. You can see how similar these two charts look. But we've been watching Ethereum more closely just because Ethereum kind of represents the alternative, like altcoin market, more so than Bitcoin represents the general crypto market. So I like to follow Ethereum. So last week, by the time we ended the week, we were closing in right here on the resistance level we had charted out around 1350. And on stream, I said I was expecting for us to be rejected around 1350 and selling off to kind of retest the bottom of the range we had been stuck in, which is the range from here November up until where we broke out of it at the start of this week. The other thing I said is, if we do fail to be rejected by this resistance level at 1350, that I would cut my short positions and reassess. So you can see that did break through, and I personally, in my own investments, obviously not on stream, so not for our 100 wax, but just for like my own crypto positions, my positions that I held short against cryptocurrencies like Ethereum and any other currencies I was trading, I cut when we closed the day above 1350. I think I ended up getting a 1370-ish exit of those positions. And that was the right call, because over the week we pushed all the way to the next resistance, and we've already closed the day above that. So the next resistance I had charted out was around 1560, 1550. And you can see very little resistance between here. It just climbed straight away. And if I'm going to zoom out a little bit more, we've kind of charted out the broad range here between this orange line and this first red line. So it's been in that range ever since we pretty much so here, I'm going to move back a little further, all the way to the start of our bear market around November 10th to the 20th or so is the range where the market topped. And then we kind of sold off, dumped down pretty aggressively. Here's where like Celsius collapsed. Celsius and I think Voyager went out of business. And then here the harder collapses again are with I think FTX was happening around here. Pushing us quite below our trend lines, which we marked out months ago at this point, probably back in like May or something. But we were pushed below those pretty hard by big, macroeconomic events such as the FTX collapse. And then we hit our first kind of like the red marks. We had drawn this out way back when the market started dumping. The red was kind of our bottom targets for the bear market. I think we're still not at the very bottom, but we did touch those way earlier than expected because of, the collapses of some of these centralized institutions. And then you can see we retested back right to the trend line and we're rejected at it. And that established our range, from here to here, created this range of these two orange lines, basically. And we've been in that range ever since. So ever since we first hit the bottom chart, and that was all the way back in June 2022. So we've been in this massive range for quite a while, and in this sub range within that since November. So all the way over the holiday season, we were just trading in between for Ethereum between about 1,050 and 1,350. So that $300 range has been broken this week. We pushed all the way up through the next resistance level to 1,550, and personally, I don't think we're breaking out of the general range here, this giant thing. That's unreasonable. I think if we break out of here, then we've hit basically my Gandalf line, which again, Gandalf is the you shall not pass. This is the end of the bear market. If we're closing a day above this Gandalf line, that's game over. I'm done short selling, and I'm probably accumulating. And I've been like, when we hit these red lines, those are buy targets for me. So I've been buying and accumulating since then already. But I've also still been short, expecting these markets to continue to sell off. And this week we did not get that. So I'm going to reset this chart and take a closer look here. We're basically in this overbought territory on the RSI the entire time for the week. So we were already at this overbought level last week when we were looking at the chart. Since then, we've just been flatlining the Stoch RSIs, the SRSIs, the indicator I'm looking at right now, flatlining across the top, usually indicating an overbought market condition. Now you can see at the same time where our other indicators, the on balance volume, it's been climbing aggressively as basically money is pouring into the market to make this price go up. But one of the main relationships that I look for within these indicators is the value in the market on the OBV, on the on balance volume, versus the value of the spot price, which is the actual current trading price of the asset. So if we look, we've made definitely a new high. So we're above the last high here on the daily chart with the on balance volume. But the last time we saw this amount of volume on the books here would be around here. If we're just moving the chart to kind of like see, that's around that same price, these little peaks. And you can see at that time, way lower price. The price was, right around 1350. When we were last at this range here. We're looking at the on balance volume. So we can come up a little higher here, also still in the same range, about the same price. So you see this kind of flatlined, even though the market dumped. That kind of flatlining and on balance volume while the market conditions are dropping definitely usually indicate a breakout, which we got. And then you can see the breakout created a lower low, or a lower high rather. And then that, continued its sell off here. The next dump has been pushing us down. So what we're looking for as an early indication to the end of a bear trend would be the flipping of, the money exiting this market. And so the on balance volume, I'm trying to scroll out a little, getting out of this downtrend. So right now we are kind of, we've made a higher high than this. And in this high, the price was about the same. So the last time that the market price was about the same at this like peak here, same as the market price is now, there was also about the same amount of money, if not a little bit more now than then, meaning that some money has returned into this asset. That could be a bullish indication. So it's a little difficult to assess what we expect for the next week. We have blown through the last support. We're right around the current one, and we're very oversold. So at this point, what I wanted to use to help bias my opinion is the SPY, because crypto has been kind of pumping. As long as the SPY pumps, crypto has been pumping as well. And then when it starts to dump, the dumps line up. So the charts don't look the same for the SPY as they do for like Bitcoin or Ethereum. But if you were to draw lines out for the days where the SPY starts to sell off, and then match those dates to the points on the graph where crypto starts to sell off, those sell-offs, these aggressive kind of like sell-offs, happen very much in line with the sell-off times on the crypto chart. So you can on your own, make those like lines and see how well they line up. It's pretty impressive. So I'm going to take a look at the SPY to see, are we getting closer to a spot where it pulls down again, like, one of these sell-offs effectively. And you can see on the SPY, we're getting, no new higher high on the on balance volume. We're also overbought on the RSI. You can see we're not even making a higher high in the price. It's just kind of doing its thing where it goes up and down, but it's trending downwards. So you can see kind of like the tops of all these peaks are kind of forming a pretty consistent downtrend that has absolutely not been broken yet. We'd still have to wait to see, is it going to climb for the next week or so, get up here and start breaking that trend? Or do we now flatline a little bit, move down, and continue this like wave downwards that we've been seeing in the stock market. If we zoom way out on the stock market just to kind of get a bigger picture of what's happening here, you can see I've changed the chart now to the weekly candles. Each candle now represents a full week of time. And since the top, you can see here the very clearly the amount of money in the stock market currently is almost the same as the amount of money at the bottom of the COVID collapse. So you can see here on balance volume, the OBV metric is showing around the same levels, if not even slightly higher at the bottom of the COVID collapse versus currently on the SPY. And the spot price for the SPY is drastically higher than that. That's a big bear indication to me when I see something like this, where the OBV is at a level where in the past the price has been at a much lower level at that same time. It indicates that the price is a little bit overvalued. So I still expect the SPY to fall because of this. And a lot of that has to do, with macroeconomics, kind of like principles such as how the next FOMC meeting goes, where the Federal Reserve will basically publish their plans for what will happen with inflation and with basically interest rates, rather. So inflation is the CPI reports. The inflation numbers weren't terrible. This last published was last week, Thursday. You can look up the CPI reports for the United States and China were published then. And the FOMC meeting, which is coming up, I think, I forget the date, but you can always type it into Google and find out. That will be when the Federal Reserve decides what they will do for interest increases to continue to combat inflation. And the language that Jerome Powell has been using, who's the Federal Reserve chairman, is indicative of further interest rate increases. As interest rates go up for borrowing cash from the Federal Reserve and from central banks, it becomes more expensive to do the same amount of business, because all the debt that you take to operate becomes more expensive as you have to pay a higher percentage in interest. And that tends to drive equity value down. Equity being obviously stocks and cryptocurrencies by extension. So I still see that as the macro kind of economic picture playing out. We do have the RSI has room to move up here. So we could see a little bit of push up, but a lot of that doesn't necessarily, a lot of people are very quick to call the end of a bear market when there is a big rally. And it's effectively, I guess it's known as it's a bull trap, where you basically get a bunch of people to, get their bullish sentiment back, start buying into stuff, and then it dumps again. And you force them to paper hand sell again, trapping them into thinking, oh, it's the start of the next run. And so in an effort to stay with our plan and keep kind of in line with what we've been charting since the start of this bear market, we still aren't near the Gandalf end of bear market line. We have been kind of trending closer to it. And then here now we're on the weekly. So let's take a look close up on the weekly. If we're closing a week above the middle, here we go. We actually are. This last week closing above the middle Bollinger Band line is a very good bullish indication. So I want to see how this next week closes. It's interesting, but I feel like we might see something similar to what we see here, where we got a week, a little bit less volatile week, and then another sell-off. Personally, I don't think it's ever a bad time to average into positions when the market dumps aggressively, but I don't think it's a good idea to try to trade these charts by trying to time the top or the bottom. Like, the goal is always to, inform our positions and then continue to adjust them accordingly. So on that note, let's adjust our position in our Wax DeFi play. So we think that the market might kind of stay where it is, or go maybe volatilely, fluctuate around here, and then in the next week or so continue to sell off. So with that in mind, and of course that impression will change depending on how the next week plays out. If we do climb, let's go back to the daily chart. If we do climb in this next week, from here all the way to the next support level here, at what is that, like 1750 almost again, 1730 or something. And then if we are able to, blow through that and turn it into resistance where to like bounce, that's not that's going to basically invalidate our current like assumptions here, and we'll have to reassess. What I think will happen is we're going to cool off since we've been overbought for a while. We've been climbing. The SPY is showing similar signs. I think we're going to bounce down to retest the previous support around 1350 again, at which point this will either hold and become, the new support level where we bounce up from, or this will break and we'll continue to retest again the previous support at 1050. So my assumption is we're going to drop down to here, do like a little bit of a bounce no matter what, or at least slow down for a little while, but like come down here, probably bounce a little bit, and then either sell off again or come down here and bounce, and then move through this and turn this into the next support, at which point we'll bounce off that line, is usually how I'm expecting to see this play out. So let's see what happens this week. It looks like we're already selling down a little bit back below 16. So if we zoom in much closer, like to the 1 hour, like today we had it all the way up into like 1640 or something. A couple spikes. We're selling off again, but we're reaching that middle Bollinger Band line. It might bounce here. You can kind of see similar patterns play out on the smaller timeline, but there's a lot more noise the closer you get. The weekly chart is always kind of like the end all be all for me, and seeing a full week closing above the middle Bollinger Band line, that's a big deal in a bear market, and we are seeing that last week. So should definitely keep all this stuff in mind, but I'm personally still kind of a bear when it comes to this stuff, thinking that we're still going to sell off. So let's see how we did last week. So last week we were
quickly want to interject. There's an OIG election on Wax right now. So if you're a Wax blockchain user, you can vote at oig.wax.io, and that is available until the 20th. So there's 3 more days you can vote. I'll put the link in the chat here. I personally voted for Mike D.
Yeah, same.
He's the builder of WaxDAO, which creates like staking farms for creators, and just overall good dude that builds on Wax. But Nick Custers is another Wax community member who's running. So there's a couple good options this time as far as like people that we've been hanging out with talking on Wax for quite some time now, or starting to try to be involved in the governance, which before it sort of seemed like everybody that was involved in governance were not really involved in the communities. So it's kind of cool to see community members trying to become more involved, and I'm trying to do what I can to support them.
So you can come up here, like I went to oig.wax.io, I signed in on the top right with my wallet, and then you can click up here on vote, and then you can see the candidates here. So there's Nick Custer. This is Mike D from the WaxDAO. You can read more about them by clicking on like the.
There's no visual confirmation when you vote, but if you check on blocks after you click vote, you'll see if your vote went through.
Yeah. So then you can say,
I wish it'd tell you like if I already voted for Mike, like you are voted for Mike, like it would change the thing. It would just like
so
it
that's
doesn't have any sort of confirmation. Just like I guess I voted. But
so I can come up here and let me pull this up in blocks to take a look at that.
Also, on this note, NFT Gamer TV is interviewing, I think his name is Kiefer. I don't know how you say his name, but he's a current OIG. So if you're interested in learning more about the OIGs or have any questions for like what the OIG is doing specifically, you should check out the NFT Gamer TV stream, because this is one of the first times an OIG has ever done like a public interview that I've known since I've been on Wax. So it's kind of a big deal as far as
that's cool.
Like there hasn't been public access to these people, and like I don't know. I think like this is kind of like a whole different topic than what you're about to do, but like, there's a lot of like people think there's a lack of transparency in Wax governance, and I think it's a combination. I don't necessarily think it's intentional lack of transparency. I think it's that it's such thick technical, like it's really dense information on how Wax governance works that the average person just doesn't get it, and it's not really worth explaining to them how it works because they don't need to know how it works for Wax to work correctly. So I think it's less of like them intentionally trying to hide the information, more just like most people aren't interested in this. So like there's just not a lot of people talking about it because like it's not fun, I guess. Like just so I don't know. That's sort of my opinion as far as like I know some people are like, oh, it's like an insider game, it's rigged and they're keeping us all out. It's like I don't think that's the case as much as it's just like these people are all tech people and they all work behind the scenes and are not used to being public figureheads. They're not used to like talking out and stuff. So like their lack of like engaging in the community doesn't mean they're doing shady things necessarily. It's just that, yeah, that's like not their job. Their job is not to talk to the community necessarily.
Yeah, exactly. They're busy building like their own like blockchain tools and stuff, and it's definitely a whole different thing to be a politician. But yeah, here this is how we go about doing it though. If you come here, you can log in with your wallet and you can choose your favorite candidate. You don't have to vote for whoever I'm voting for or whoever Lewis is voting for. Here's like Nick, and then I think this is the person that's being interviewed right now. I also am not sure how to say their name. Kier, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, you just click the vote button and then submit your vote, and then you can check that it went through by going to blocks, and then here's like the transaction. It looks like I've sent one, and then here my option was Mike D. So it looks like I did vote, and you can see the ballot name is OIG ... which is in line with what which is in line with what the ballot is here. OIG ...
Also, once you vote, you can get a free drop from WaxDAO that says I voted. It's like an I voted sticker.
Oh, that's fun.
I posted in our Discord if you want to pull that up.
Nice. Yeah, let me check it out. Let's see. So you posted it in
general.
Oh my god, too many Discords. I gotta purge my shit here. And I gotta get a new
Again, he says, I've never traded, but I will though. First, I want to know what platform I have to get on. I don't know if we necessarily have an advice for what trading platform, but you know, you can use any sort of centralized exchange. I'd use whatever is like in your local jurisdiction as far as like.
Yeah, if you use
it's hard to sign up for exchanges that are outside of your country.
There's basic. So if you've never gotten into it at all, there's two kind of like overall exchange like functions. One is turning cash and fiat currencies into cryptocurrencies, and the other is turning cryptos into other cryptos. A little bit more.
Right there.
There it is.
This sexy MF voted.
Nice. So I could come here. Let's see.
But yeah, the whitelist. I guess the whitelist is whether or not you have voted. Like you get whitelisted if you voted for it.
That's pretty sweet. So let's see if I can get it. Let's see if I go to waxdao.io.
Should be under drops.
And I go to, let's see. All right, market. And then.
I don't actually know where the drops are on this. I think I had a link directly to it on Twitter.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it's in the comments. It's the first comment. But it's waxdao.io/OIG if you wanted to type it in.
That would have been easy too. Okay, here it is. So now let's see. I should be able to log in with the same wallet I just voted. So let's see. Log in.
Oh, another thing that happened that I posted in our Discord is NFT Hive added a community score, so you can upvote or downvote a collection based on, you know, whether or not they screwed you. So if anybody would be willing to go to the Neon Space collection and upvote us, I would appreciate that. So maybe we can have some visibility just for being a good community collection.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Oh, there you go. Claimed. Let's go. Free NFTs. I'll take that. Let's go to inventory.
That's right here is NFT Hive.
Let's go.
I also couldn't vote. I tried voting for us on one of the wallets, and it was like, you can't vote for your own collection. Since I was like a authorized moderator for Neon Space, I couldn't.
That's funny. That's cool, though. I guess they can't just like self-vote.
All right. Well, enough of this tangent. Cool. Let's get back to your 100 wax investment.
Yeah. So let's take a look at how we did last week when we
I just wanted to do the OIG stuff because that is very time sensitive and that will not exist next week.
Yeah. So here we go. We had 100-ish wax that we left in the DeFi box wax USDT pool. It's now down to 90 wax. That has to do with the fact that wax pumped in price. And as wax increased in price, some of our wax position was sold into USDT. And so we can take a look at that here. If I go to the liquidity swap, and you can see we now only have 26, or we started with 26. So we now only have 45.16 wax on the wax side and $2.41 in USDT on the USDT side. So as the wax price drops, if we're correct in our prediction for the coming 2 weeks or so, if the wax price drops in the next few weeks, then staying in this position should transition back some of that into our wax side of this equation. And during the transition of people buying and selling from the swap, we also earn interest in the form of liquidity sourcing fees that are being paid by the trader who's making the swap. So you can see here, if I swapped like 1 wax into USDC, here's the fee breakdown for that. It goes like this. So we're paying a 0.3% fee, this amount of wax, and that goes into the liquidity pool. And then depending on what percentage of the liquidity pool you own, which we own 1.2%, we would have earned 1.2% of that wax for that trade as our commission for supplying the liquidity in the first place. That is how liquidity yield farming works. But I don't think we need to address this. I think we should leave this alone, see if we get back up to 100 wax, and then see what happened with the rest of our positions. So the next part of the position was in Taco Swap. So I'm just going to open Taco here. Taco Swap. And we had put some of our money, or I think the rest of it, actually, we consolidated it all into the Wombat Wax pool. And it looks like it's all still there. So we've gotten, I think we had about 56. So we may be down 0.5 wax, but it looks like the Wombat Wax has been relatively flat. Let's take a look at what happened over the last 7 days. If I take wax and Wombat and 7 days, it looks like, about 3% that it dropped in price relative to wax. Not so bad, considering that we also earned an incentive for supplying liquidity, and we can claim that here. So I go to account rewards, and we earned 86 wax. So I think from our 56 something, we maybe lost 0.5 or so wax, possibly up to 1 wax that was lost as a decay, as the value of Wombat did not keep up with the value of wax pumping over the week. So let's see how our incentive offset that loss by seeing what our Wombat into wax. And it looks like it hasn't actually updated the thing yet. So I'm just going to toggle it up, and there it goes, updates. And so we actually made 3.8 wax or so from this. So I usually swap into this, but let's see if we want to compound, we maybe don't need to sell it all. Let's take a look first if this compound is the move we want to do. The first thing that matters for that is are the rewards still relevant for the full week that we're going to participate? So I'm going to go to the meal tab and click on staked, and we can see here there's 28 days left of farming incentives for this pool. 28 days, we'll be back to reassess within a week. I still like the Wombat pool quite a bit. We've done relatively well here. It's our only position right now in this wallet, which does kind of walk a line of like, or I guess our only position aside from our hedge, which is the wax USDT. But that does kind of walk the line of like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. So let's take what we're earning from this pool this week, turn it into wax, and then use that wax to play some other aggressive plays. Let's take a look at what's available. So I'm going to go with wax and Wombat again. And it looks like we still have 1.6 or so wax in this wallet. So I'm just going to swap all of our earnings this week into wax and then see what we have. After that should be close to 5-ish wax. Let's take a look. Yeah, 5.5. So let's take this 5.5 wax and do something a little bit more aggressive this week. So it's 5.5 wax at this point in our investment journey represents about 2.5% of this wallet's net worth. We've gone up from about 100 wax of net worth in the wallet to about 210 or so. So you can see actually that's here 55 times 2 because this side is also worth 55 wax. This is 110 wax. And then the position on DeFi box is worth 90. So let's just call it 200 flat. And then 5 wax of 200 is 2.5%. So this is about 2.5% of the value of the entire wallet. We can risk that percentage. I'd say maybe even up to 5%. We could risk on something much more high risk, much more aggressive. So let's see what is available. So to scour some opportunities for short-term plays here, we're only planning to be here for a week. Let's see what we got. And it looks like the top earning APR pools currently on Meal here on TacoSwap are CMX NFTV.
NFT Gamer TV just launched their token, and the main distribution is currently through mining. It also, I think the price just went insane for it. I haven't checked, but it went from like 2 wax to like 20 wax within like that's a super speculative asset at the moment.
Yeah, let's see if that. So if it's already up like that amount, like 10x or so, it might be too risky to buy into that token for us personally. But let's take a look at what we want to do. NFTV. So it looks like that's 24 hours. By the way, if this goes down in terms of wax, yeah, that's it losing value at the moment relative to what we want because we're trying to go up in terms of wax. Yeah, it's up 673% from 2 wax to 25, and now it's sitting at around 17 wax. So a reason for that is obviously the opportunities to earn this token require owning the token in the first place. So
if people are buying it for the high APY for the mining.
Yeah, exactly. So people are buying into to farm and then doing a calculation of like, oh, you'll make back, at, let's see, what's this, 1400% APR. You would make back your initial investment within like 2 weeks almost. Like you'd make all of it back, assuming the price of everything stays consistent, which it never does. And so personally, I feel a little bit shaken out. It's a little out of my access to this. It's a little too much of a boost because, when you see something like 969% APR, and most of that APR is paid in, this is also Taco. That's not a bad pool here, maybe NFTV with wax. But again, this is only 6 days on the Taco, 8 days on this. So we would be 1 day without this incentive, which the 50 wax or Taco is really, adding quite a bit to that, doing a lot of the lifting for that APR. But when you have, tokens that are or offering a APR paid in their own asset, that's this high, you could assume that that's the inflation rate of this token, given its current circulating supply. So I would assume these tokens will devalue at a rate of like, 1,400% APR, which would then be, equivalent to like 50% in a week or something. So I could see these tokens dropping that quickly because they're printing that quickly. Now, if we can get paid in a high APR without exposing ourselves to that token directly, that's not a bad idea. And I did see something, if we go to the Salsa pool right now, there is this NFTV will pay you 203% APR for staked Taco. So I don't need to expose myself to NFTV token to earn a relatively high APR of 200%, which, 8 days actually will make it till next Tuesday. So I'm thinking maybe we use our 2.5% here, scoop some Taco, which is also relatively low in the wake of Wax's drop here. Well, I guess it's kind of coming back now today, you can see, but I think over the week it was dumping. I was hoping we hadn't jumped all the way back up yet, but either way, I think I'm going to use this 5.3 wax. I'm going to scoop some of this Taco right now.
Taco's also been hovering around that price for a long time.
Yeah, that's the other side of Taco.
Like if you go longer than 30 days, it's kind of always around 2 wax.
It's just, it kind of, here, we can actually go much further on the Taco swap, or on Taco's value if we look at it on Alcor, where those tokens have been trading a lot longer. Taco. And here, if we go to all time, this is probably going to be a little whack because of this beginning part, but you can see around 2 to 1, 2. It's been doing that since, this is November 2021. So this is a much more established price action around, 2 wax, 1.5 wax or so. I don't
The
feel
interesting
like
thing,
that,
though, I think,
Mhm.
like, is all wax is based on wax, though. Like, it's not based on the price in dollars, because, like, if you looked at the US dollar taco price chart, it would not be straight at 2 because
Oh
wax
no,
is
it would
changing
be like
price in US dollars. So, like, I do think it's like, I don't know. The charts are a little weird on wax because everything's relative to wax, whereas, like,
yeah,
the price in dollars is kind of, I mean, at least to me, important. Like, I'm concerned with what the price is in dollars. So it's like, but because nothing's paired with USDT or USDC, we don't really have like dollar readouts of the prices of any of the tokens on Wax.
yeah, and like here you can see the dollar value of what is this, wax in dollars. So, well, this is dollars in wax. That's why it's going up so much. It's because you're getting a lot more wax for your dollar at the moment. So if we swap this around, you can see in dollars, the price of wax, went from like 20 cents, 10 cents,
Yeah.
spiked
So
all the
like,
way up here to like
it's
70
been worth
cents.
2 wax since November 21, but the price of 2 wax in November 21 was like,
Yeah, was like almost
exponentially more than it was now. So it's like
70 cents or something. So you're looking at like, it would have been $1.40 per taco back then. Whereas today, it's still 2 wax, which is like 40 cents or something, or less.
2 wax
than
is
that.
not 40 cents.
It's way less than that. Yeah.
It's like 10 cents, right?
10 cents. So yeah, if you're looking at it in terms of wax, that's also why a big part of our mission statement for this investment is we're trying to make more wax, not more US dollars. Otherwise we would be approaching this much differently. So that is a good distinction to make. Good.
Yeah, I just think it's
to point
important
that
to
out.
like understand your goal and understand what you're looking at, because like, I don't know, there's just a lot of information passed around the NFT and in crypto space, and like if your goal
Yeah.
is not the same as the goal of someone telling you how to do something, like it might not be in your best interest to
Yes.
do that. If your goal is to make more US dollars, like looking at it from a wax perspective might not even necessarily be the smart thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I did just swap our 5 point whatever wax into taco, and I'm going to do this salsa pool. So it's available still for 8 days. 200% APR is great. I don't need the 1400 because at this rate I'm making 200% of the value of my taco paid in this token. So I'm not exposed to the the value that I'm using to earn this APR isn't devaluing at the rate because of its high APR. Is kind of like
From a personal note, I wouldn't mind a little bit of a stake in NFT Gamer TV, but I'm definitely going to wait until it chills out. Like right now is a super dangerous time to enter. The token price just like went up 10x in the last week.
Yeah, that's exactly what I just don't want to enter at the height of a market, and because we are like on the tail end of an 800% climb in 1 week, it's
the few things I'll say about them though is I think they put up a lot of liquidity. Like I think there's a lot of like, if you're trying to sell out of or buy into NFT Gamer TV, I think there is liquidity there. So I do think it's not like the creators are going to rug pull the utility and there's going to be no way to sell it if you get a bunch. TD's got liquidity. I'll give them that. And then also the use case for the token eventually is supposed to be to like rent tools, I believe. Like T Davis and Sonica both have like, hundred thousands of wax spent on gaming items, but they don't play games anymore. They're just like, we don't really play the NFT games. So like they're creating a system where you can spend NFT Gamer TV to rent their whale gaming items to play games in your wallet for a certain amount of time. I don't know exactly how that's going to work, but it's like, I can use your Epic Alien Worlds tool for a week for 5 NFTG. So like the NFT Gamer TV tokens are going to be used to rent play to earn items from whales that are not using them. So it does have like kind of a interesting use case for the token, and I also like the project, and I don't think they're going anywhere. So I do think I'd want a little bit, but I don't know if I'd be buying NFT Gamer TV off of the market right now just because it's very speculative.
Yeah. So like for the example, you're saying they have a lot of liquidity. That's true. This is 31,000 wax just on the wax side. So this is effectively a 62,000 63,000 wax liquidity pool bilaterally. Makes it very easy to cash in and out of. But the like red flags for me right now are there's only 8 days of rewards streaming to this pool at the current really high rate of 970 almost percent APR. And if we look at who's providing the liquidity, one wallet owns 30% of this pool, 29.32%.
That's also not
So
the team. The team is the second wallet.
the team is this wallet.
Token.NFTG, like that liquidity is not going anywhere, I don't think. But I don't know if that top person is just pump and dumping, like trying to
so
capitalize on the market.
If they do decide to, pull their liquidity, let's say with 2 days left or something in this pool, they could dump the price, owning 30%. You could expect like almost a 60% drop if they just pulled and sold everything right away. Like, because not only would the liquidity that they provide not be part of the liquidity they exit from, so you'd effectively have 30% get pulled. Now the stake of NFTV token would be much lower liquidity, and you have a bunch of it, so you're then dumping that into that to clear out the other side of the pool. It can go very quickly when you have massive wallets like this in the pool.
We also saw this with this is pretty much like CMW just all over again. CMW is the credit metaverse token, and we're like, yeah, this is like crazy APY and you can't make money, but also like we saw how hard that collapsed. Like it's like any of the Ponzi games on Wax. Like you can make money, but you have to sell at the right time. Like you got to buy in at the right time and sell at the right time, and it is definitely like it's risky.
Damn, yeah.
But someone's gonna make money. Like whoever that guy is that owns 30%, if he got in day one, that guy's probably made like he probably didn't pump up the price all the way to 20. Like if he bought say from 2 to 10 and like had that much liquidity and then he sells out, like he's definitely gonna make his money back. So like some people will be profitable on it, but it's just dangerous. It's risky.
Yeah, CMW's definitely just been climbing down. But even that one, we were like, the distribution model makes sense until like December, and then when they launch another one, it changes again. And so same goes for like this. You'd have to like look much deeper into the distribution model and the max supply of these tokens to know like their intrinsic value. And I think as long as like
also,
I like
the utility, like
I
the idea of renting items with the shit is cool, but if you can't do that right now, then the only use case for the token is farming more tokens, and that very much is detrimental to the value of the token. So there's a lot of different moving pieces in whether or not.
Yeah, so right now we're expecting to earn 0.0017 per day in this pool. And we did 5.5 wax into this. So next week when we come back, we might, we'll unless this is extended and still worth our while, we'll have a little stake in NFTV token, and we'll have our value still protected by the value of Taco token, and we'll be able to see how we've done here compared to had we put our money into a liquidity pool, or I guess. Yeah, let's do it that way. I was going to say we could also add into a liquidity pool another 5.5 wax and see what that's worth. But I'm not sure if... No, that's more of an experiment than an actual play. So let's stick to our guns here. We have a plan. We're sticking to it, and we're not just like flopping wildly. And so because this is a bit of a hip fire move, we are limiting it ourselves to 2.5% of our wallet's value. But that done, and looking at us here,
I'm never gonna financially recover from this.
All right, let's take a look actually at honey. We still have some honey that we stake too, and honey in terms of wax, down quite a bit. So we're sitting on, I'd say we keep sitting on the honey. So we sold half of ours. We made back everything we put in, and then like a little bit of profit on top of that. The rest we kept staked. So if we go to, I guess it'd be wallet. This is my other wallet. I have 500 honey in here, and it's earning all these tokens. But we can do that from our shared investment wallet here. And let's do that. It's bringing up, here it is, DeFi1.ftw, the wallet we made for this. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so we still have on top of our Wax and Wombat token liquidity, our Wax USD token liquidity. We also have our, let's go here. I want to see account, wallet. We also have 4.5 honey, and that's earned us, 0.015 Wax, as well as a collection of these other tokens. So I think DIM, they did a drop in DIM recently, so we got a cut of that drop. And basically
we did
any
a drop
other
in DIM recently.
yeah, and it's like, oh, it's nice to see 1.8 of that DIM came back to us as our honey stake here. So I'm kind of just letting this ride for now, letting these accumulate a little bit. It's just not enough to be worth the hassle of actually cashing everything out. But for now, let's just not forget that this is here. So we got 4.5 or so honey, which is worth about, I was looking at the wrong side. So it's worth about 1.56 Wax, way more than it was when we were considering selling it. It was around 0.6. So it's not actually down, it's climbing again. And when we first looked at honey a while ago, I thought around 1.4 Wax wasn't a bad price for it, and I started buying around there. So in general, I think we did pretty well. So we still have, let's see, 4.5. Yeah, we still have about 7 Wax worth of honey. We also have now 110 Wax worth of liquidity in the Wombat pool. And now that we added the Salsa stake, we have 5.5 Wax worth of Taco, earning us some NFTV tokens. And then to wrap up the entire position, we also have 90 Wax worth of liquidity as Wax USDT on DeFi Box. In the future, I'm hoping to see more stable coins kind of get some activity on the Wax blockchain so that we can actually see some more demand for those and get some actual incentive from supplying liquidity, because no one's really incentivizing stablecoin pools and they don't generate a lot. USDT, for example, Wax USDT and Wax. Okay, 10% is not bad. This is, I'm actually surprised to see that's quite high. That's kind of great. So I'll roll that back. But here's one that I was doing USDT, USDC, and this is doing 0.7. I scaled down from this a little bit to move that what is it called, liquidity, to somewhere where it would produce a little bit more return. So you can see I cut my position here from 600, almost 700 USDT down to 9. I pulled 550 or something out of there, just because it doesn't make sense to sit in that asset and make 0.7% when I can take the exact same asset to a different blockchain where there is a demand for USDT, USDC liquidity, and then earn 8 or 9%, or maybe even 4 or 5. It's still way more than 0.7. So I hope to see some more demand for those assets coming to Wax, but I haven't seen that recently. And then I guess let's touch really quickly back on last week. I said it is clear to me that the market's going to be swinging, but we weren't 100% sure if it was going to get rejected or not. And we made plans to cut our short positions at 1350. But one play that I did consider at the time and mentioned on stream was the CVOL token, which I just wanted to pop in and see how that turned out. So CVOL, or it's CVI.finance, is the protocol. They generate an asset. It was worth about $51 when we looked at this last week, and it's currently trading for $71. So this is a week later. If we go to 1 week, you can see when we were looking at it, around 53, 54, and today it's up. This token goes up as the crypto markets become more volatile, and goes down as the crypto market becomes more stable. It trades between a range of $0 and $200. And if you own some, you can come here and burn them, and they burn into USDC. You can mint them with USDC, and you can just trade them on the open market. They are an interesting asset where you're not betting on a price direction, just that the price will become volatile. And this play went relatively well. The only thing I want to mention, if you do look into this, there is a funding fee that this token is bound to. And so if you buy, let's say, 1 unit of CVol and have it sitting in your wallet, every day it is rebased, and you should expect to see that rebase remove that token from your wallet at a rate of 0.03% at this current price. So at the lower prices, when we were around $52, that rebase was 10 times more aggressive. So if you had, and this is per hour, by the way. So if you had those tokens in your wallet, like I bought 1 unit of this, by the time I sold it, I only had like 0.72 units left per each one that I purchased, because they slowly shrink in number within my wallet. Obviously, otherwise the backing wouldn't work, and this is how they rebase. So just be aware of this. I just wanted to poke in and mention it again, that like, yes, it did play out the way we expected it to. It was a low cost because the market was not volatile, and the market got more volatile, and the value of the CVol went up. In the future, I probably won't buy it for 50 or less. I would probably start buying it around $60 because of this funding fee. And you can see around $50, it's crazy high. But by the time we get to like 60, it's already dramatically lower, less than 50%. They're at 58, 59, 61. We're at 0.08% now per hour instead of 0.24. So, understanding all this stuff is kind of tricky. I just wanted to poke in and look at that one more time. But that kind of wraps up our overview of the market for the week, our retouching basis with our 100 wax crypto investment. And I guess we should, since it's Funko drop day, you want to poke in at the drop really quick before we wrap up?
We were looking at it a bit earlier, but we can look at it again.
Whoops.
I'm about ready to raid into someone. Let's check the live.
Yeah, we can do that. I'm just curious how the Funko.
We've been going for 2.5 hours.
True. I gotta eat something here.
Now you gotta take a dump.
I got an interesting like little life hack here. This is an actual life hack, not a tip on how to navigate something. But I have a weird, like, I got sick this over the weekend a little bit, and I have a weird condition where I get like kind of like a skin condition called cellulitis. It's a very like a painful like rash that goes away with antibiotics, but I need to take antibiotics immediately with it. And you can't get a prescription for antibiotics that you just keep in your cupboard like you could for other drugs, because doctors won't do that. So a little life hack that I've found over the years of dealing with this is I went to purchase fish antibiotics on the internet, and they are straight up 500 milligram amoxicillin tablets. Let me just show them off because I thought it's so fucking funny. I talked to my doctor about it too. I showed him I was doing that, and he was just like, this is crazy. Like, I never heard of this, but life hack, it totally works. And is a way for you to get antibiotics without necessarily having to go to a doctor. I had to take these around like 4 a.m. On like Friday. The only option for a doctor at that time would have been an emergency room, and I'm not made of money, so it would have been a very expensive option. So it's a great hack here. I'll be right back.
It looks like the small packs are $13. What are the big ones called? Premium packs? Premium packs $39 for the cheapest one, and for the standard pack, it is $13.94. So it's a bit above drop price. $14 for a $10 drop. It's a bit up.
That's not bad.
I think it's trending up too from what we checked earlier.
It was like the ChainChamps tool when we were looking at that was scooping like $12 ones. But yeah, check this out. This is fucking crazy. It's like, I think it cost me $30 for 500 milligram capsules, and they come like this.
Let's see what the legendaries are selling for. $40 for Jimmy. What in the fuck is this show? Somebody's like spraying farts on trees with faces. I feel like maybe if you saw the show that would make sense, but I don't know what that is. Seymour Spider. Yeah, I don't know. This set just isn't for me. I'm not really into any of the properties. That looks pretty cool though. I kind of look at it, almost looks like claymation.
Fish Max food. Man.
I guess the Slee stack is kind of cool, but I
The
don't like
Slee stack
Land of
is
the
pretty
Lost enough to have a physical collectible. Like, I think that movie's okay, but I feel weird. Like,
I just remember when Chaka is saying Slee stack to Danny McBride, he's just like, "What are you saying? Are you saying chorizo tacos? Like, don't fuck with me. I'm very hungry." And it doesn't say Fish Max food. It says Fish Mox, and then Forte.
Horatio J. Hoodoo. Also, don't know what context or what show this dude's from. He looks like a fucking weirdo.
Oh yeah, this looks wild. It's like 70s like daytime television, huh?
It's weird that he has like a hairline with no hair. Like,
that's where
he's like a green hairline, but it's like, wouldn't that just be a skull? Like, wouldn't there not be a line there if that wasn't hair?
he just wears that hat so often it's like a permanent imprint.
But that's going out the Funko drops today.
That's dope.
$200 for the Grail. It's not cheap.
No, it's
Still
also
a lot of money
collection.
moving through these markets.
Yeah, this one's definitely a smaller market or collection drop than the previous ones, which makes sense because I feel like the property is a little less mass appeal.
I think it's like 24,000 packs, which is still a lot, but it's
That's
smaller for a Funko drop. They can get up to like 100K packs for like DC and stuff.
Yeah. That's fucking. I just had to share my little fish hack here because the American healthcare system is fucked. So if you need antibiotics, you can actually get them without a prescription from a veterinarian. God, that's so sad saying it out loud.
But yeah, I think that's going to conclude our stream. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll be back online Thursday for our Neon Space podcast. I haven't set up. I don't know what our food fight's going to be this week. I haven't set up. Or like, I don't know. I liked when we did the movie one too, like Christmas movies. It might not necessarily even be food, but we'll do some sort of group ranking tier list thing. That'll be on Thursday. And then Friday, I think there's no Super Blend this week, just gaming day. But I don't know. All these weeks are blending together. Life is just one big long week. But yeah, we'll have a game day. We'll play some blockchain brawlers. We have some free to try packs. So if you don't have any blockchain brawlers assets, you can play without buying anything. And we'll send you those for free. Like, you don't have to win a giveaway or anything. If you just want to try blockchain brawlers, hit us up. We basically got unlimited supply of those packs. Like, Mike sent us 100, but he's like, yeah, I can send you 1,000 if you want 1,000. I was like, I don't know if we can give away 1,000, but like, don't feel bad if you want to try it. Hit us up. But Max will play some games of that on Friday.
Yeah, I was playing some.
Paul will join us on Thursday.
I gotta upgrade my guy. I got some rare moves now, so next time when I play people on stream, I'll be able to do some more devastating things than just the eye poke. And I beat the #1 player in the world yesterday. Pure luck too. I never even folded once. I was just pulling like 6s and 7s and 8s the whole time. It was wonderful. Just crushed.
Brawlers won't load for me. Yeah, I don't know. I can't help you with it not loading. You can maybe ask them in their Discord. It's always like sometimes it takes a while to load for me, but it's always loaded for me, so I can't really help you. I don't have experiences of it not loading, but
yeah, it has taken a while sometimes for me too, but it's never not.
Their support is pretty active. I'm guessing it might be a mobile issue. I don't know if you're on your phone. It maybe like doesn't work in certain mobile browsers, or like I'm not hip to like all of that. Like I know it works on my PC Edge browser, but besides that, I can't help you because that's like my experience playing the game is always through that setup. But yeah, we'll do that on Friday. If anyone wants to hang out in Discord before then, we'll be around.
Oh, nice. I'm not familiar with the expression "you're all 6s and 7s." Have you heard that?
I think I've heard it. I'm not sure.
British. I don't know what it means either.
What?
But I was yesterday.
6s and 7s. You are at a loss or in a state of ineptitude where you cannot reliably take action.
Okay, so just all talk and no.
Okay, here we go. Let me say it again. The phrase "to be at 6s and 70s, Sixes and sevens implies that you are at a loss or in a state of ineptitude where you cannot reliably take action. Holy shit, I can't read. The saying originates from a situation in 1327. Hot damn, that was a couple of years ago. And relates to the guilds of tradesmen in the city of London. The merchant tailors and the skinners were founded within a few days of each other, 5 guilds having already received their charters. The age of each guild dictated its position in the Lord Mayor's procession. The merchant tailors and the skinners argued for 50 years as to which would go in the 6th in the procession. In the end, Sir Robert Blvd, the current Lord Mayor, decreed that it should take in turns to go 6th and 7th. Wow,
Jesus
what a fucking
Christ.
backstory.
Oh, history love. I'd never heard that expression before, but it sounds like similar to like you're all talk and no show kind of, right? Is that, or I guess
No, it's
you're
like,
in a position where you can't do anything, like you're a lame duck.
yeah, sort of. It's
Huh.
like, I don't know. It's more like our government can't get anything fucking done because it's like both sides are blocking each other. Just like nothing can get done because of ineptitude. I don't know. Sort of similar.
Okay. Yeah, I've never heard that. I don't
It
know.
doesn't
if I
mean that you're
understand
6th
it
or 7th down on the list. It means you have to switch between 6th and 7th every single year because you couldn't figure shit out. So it's like instead of just like deciding on something, you're gonna flip flop back and forth. Is what it means. Kind of. That makes sense.
Okay, I don't know how I would use that expression in my everyday.
Yeah, I don't
life.
know in what situation I would be using
Yeah.
that.
Well, unless in blockchain brawlers yesterday, I was pulling all 6s and 7s, baby. But it's just not using it right though.
I'm gonna pull up. I think
But yeah,
Autumn's Toys here has a picture of themselves as Jimmy.
oh,
Yeah,
damn.
you do look a lot like Jimmy.
Yeah, nailed it, dude.
I still
That's
think
pretty
you need
great.
to mash up a Simple Jack.
Yeah, Simple Jack with brown hair.
He's got the same friggin' like haircut and overalls.
That's true. He's just missing the fart gun.
All right. Let's
You
land this. Let's
mum-
land
mum-
this
mum-
plane. I'm gonna raid into NFT Gamer TV. I don't know if right now. I think right now they're doing Taco, and then after Taco, they're going to be interviewing one of the Wax Inspector Generals. So I think that's
Dope.
kind of a big deal. I'll probably tune into that myself if it hasn't already happened. So hopefully see you all there. If not, come hang on our Discord. But
yeah,
have a
and
good
vote
week.
on the OIG stuff, the Wax OIGs. I think it's no matter who you vote for, just participating in the voting I think is important. So if you have staked Wax, you have a voting right.
Vote and also get
Vote
your
or die.
sticker from WaxDAO.
Yeah, get your stickers. Sweet.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Also, I started to announce, but I figured out how to upload podcasts yesterday. So these are now being uploaded as audio only podcasts on like Spotify, Deezer, like 10 different podcast websites. I don't even know if Deezer's right. I think I'm wrong on that one, but you can stream it pretty much anywhere you stream podcasts. So if you're into that sort of thing, I guess check it out. But if you're watching this, I feel like you don't need to because you already heard it here. So weird place to advertise that. But yeah, catch you all on Thursday and have a fantastic week.
See you. Thanks for joining us. That was super interesting today. Talk with Jaspaws.
Yeah, Jaspaws.